It was shady, wasn't it?
Define shady.
This whole thing was shady because it was a setup to get
Objection, Your Honor.
Right?
Judge, I've lost track of what date we're in and what the relevance is here. I'd object to this line of questioning.
That's what happens when you come into a case the morning of the case, Judge, so it's not my problem.
And I saw her on December 6th, and I met her in that parking lot. She was very upset and was kicking. We sat in a minivan, and she kicked holes in the car in anger at me. And she said, "I'm drunk right now." And she pulled out a water bottle that was filled with vodka. And then she said, "I have to go pick up my kids at daycare."
So, were you trying to break up with her?
No, so you can cross-examine her. I was trying to.
No, it's illegal for him to get those documents in the first place.
Where's it illegal? So is it fair to say that you're manipulating him here?
No, I think I was being manipulated by being friends with.
Party ran his hands right hand. Oh, go ahead, do that.
Thank you very much. Yes, Your Honor.
Would you stand and raise your right hand? Do you swear in the matter of hearing to help the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
All right, this is the matter of Lindsay Gaetani versus Aidan Kearney. Judge Christopher, she issued an emergency restraining order on the order.
Take your time.
Hello, Your Honor. Timothy Bradl on behalf of Aidan Kearney. For the record, my client is before the court in custody. Your Honor, this is my client, Aidan Kearney.
Aidan Kearney.
Ms. Gaetani, are you moving to extend this order today?
Yes, I am.
Your client opposed?
We are.
And you had some?
I did. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Judge, I sent out 2 subpoenas, ducis tecum, last week. One of them is to the babysitter, Ms. Gaetani, Ms. Grace Barrett, and the service was effectuated on Friday at last and usual place of abode. And she's not here to the best of my knowledge. She's not here to the best of my knowledge, Your Honor. And she's someone that is very important to the defense of this case because I have a statement that I provided to counsel coming in today for Ms. Gaetani, wherein Ms. Barrett indicates that Ms. Gaetani said to her, "No, he didn't assault me. He was only trying to get back the papers I took from him." And it's extremely important testimony. She's not here today. I have a statement from her, from my investigator, Mr. Chapetta, who's present here in the courtroom today. You would be a witness, but we don't have the best evidence. I know the rules of evidence are relaxed or don't apply here, but I would like compliance with the subpoena. And also, the ducis tecum aspect of that subpoena was that she was to come here with text messages between her and Ms. Gaetani, text messages between her and Lieutenant Detective Tully of the Mass State Police, any statements basically between her and the State Police regarding this, because they're very important to the defense here, Your Honor, because we contend that this entire episode was engineered and set up by the Mass State Police. And so we were demanding, as is Mr. Kearney's absolute right, to subpoena those items to this evidentiary hearing. And we don't have them, we're deprived of them, and I want them. So I'm asking the court for assistance with this subpoena, and I have a proof of service from Friday. And I also have information, Judge, that third hand, but it's been filtered through to my defense team, Your Honor, that this woman has, Ms. Barrett has put it out there, so to speak, that she's not coming. So she has noticed, she has been served, and I would ask that the habeas issue and that we keep the hearing open until she appears with the required documentation. Obviously, an extremely important witness that would testify to this plaintiff's recantation of what she earlier said.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, we object to the subpoena. We're moving to quash. Essentially, Judge, multiple points on that. The first point is that we received the subpoena. It's impractical and unreasonable to expect anybody to, over the weekend, in a short period of time, pull together all of these communications. That takes a lot of time, and simply, we do not have that time to do that, and we haven't been able to do that. Secondly,
What information?
the information that's requested in the subpoena, Judge. Secondly,
Just to help, I'm just trying to help here. I'm not trying to take over the floor. But counsel's, I think, addressing the same exact issues with respect to Ms. Gaetani's subpoena.
I'm dealing with the third party.
Yeah, I appreciate the help, counsel. Essentially, Judge, what we are objecting to this because this is nothing more than sort of irrelevant and separate issues that we're trying to keep out of this hearing. We're here today for a 209A extension hearing. Your Honor already found that there was enough evidence to issue this order preliminarily. There is nothing that is requested in the subpoena that bears any relevance on the hearing here today, and it goes well beyond the scope of this civil hearing. And we ask that Your Honor quash.
To the extent that they're arguing with respect to Ms. Barrett's subpoena, Judge, I don't see how they have standing to quash a subpoena of a third party. And I think I've made an offer of proof as to relevance. And
Where did this information come from? Where did this information?
so Mr. Chapetta interviewed Ms. Barrett, yes, and he wrote a report. And
Provided the report?
yes, we have, Your Honor.
This morning, Your Honor.
5 minutes. About 4 minutes after I met him. So, but yeah, she informed my investigator, and my investigator has a report that we'll submit it to evidence, Judge. But again, we should be entitled to the best evidence of it, where she would come in here and testify by way of offer of proof from the defense team that, Lindsay said to her, no, he didn't assault me. He was only trying to get back the papers I had taken from him. And obviously and there's 2 more pages of information that he's offered. So she's a vital witness to the defense here.
What are you requesting that I do today?
I'm asking you to issue a capias for her to be brought in during court hours and keep the hearing open until such time as she appears with the responsive document.
Maybe a phone call with her. Come in, that's suffice.
Sure, we'd be happy to do that, Your Honor.
And Judge, if I may, just for the record, I think what counsel's doing here with these subpoenas, especially with...
Well, I think that's kind of relevant.
Your Honor, can't you get that same information from cross-examination? It's talking about a conversation he had with. Why are we going to go through all this when we can have this?
I waive an offer of proof to that, Your Honor. Ms. Barrett informed my investigator that Ms. Gaetani took her phone and deleted many, many text messages from Ms. Barrett's phone. So I want to see what's going on with respect to these phones, with respect to what's been evidence that's been destroyed or altered. And that's why this is so important to the defense, Your Honor.
Your Honor,
So,
this is a simple 209A. It's about one evening in December. They're trying to make this a broad fishing expedition to involve everything else that's going around with this matter. It's unnecessary. We have a witness here who's subject to cross-examination. You're very able to judge her credibility based on that cross-examination.
I think we should go forward with a note of objection.
thank you. And just with respect to the record, Judge, it's the same issues with respect to the subpoena ducis tecum that I had issued with respect to Ms. Gaetani. There was a schedule of information to be provided, and none of which has been provided, all of which would be simply available in her cell phone. That all the same issues. And so she's obviously here, and I'd like to know why the responsive documents have not been provided and what the plaintiff's position is on that, because we are absolutely entitled to those items. And if they have not already been destroyed, which I think they have, but we're entitled to some responsive document with respect to
As it pertains
subpoena.
to this here.
Yes, as it pertains to here, Your Honor, absolutely.
Your Honor, he's asking for communications with police officers and detectives that are involved in the other matter. It's a broad, it's trying to make this into a circus. And this is about one evening. And again, communications between the defendant and my client should be in the defendant's phone if he really needs this. And also,
We have those, Your Honor. Those are not what we're seeking. We're seeking communications between the complainant, the plaintiff, and the officers who we contend triggered this incident to get Mr. Kearney arrested and get his bail revoked. The whole thing was engineered, Your Honor. So we contend.
I thought she was subpoenaed to testify.
Yes. And I'll allude to the framework, the factual framework there, if I may, Your Honor. The factual framework there, Judge, is that on Friday, December 26th, we were in Norfolk Superior Court, 22nd, I think. We were in Norfolk Superior Court on Mr. Kearney's arraignment. And at that time, he was relieved of any restrictions whatsoever in terms of stay-away orders. And he was essentially allowed to go back to investigating the Karen Reed murder case. No stay-away orders, no. So he left there. And an hour or two later, our defense investigation has revealed that an hour or two later, Lieutenant Detective Tully was at Ms. Gaetani's house with a grand jury subpoena for essentially no crime. She had no information, no incriminating information for anything, because I'm privy to my client's interactions with her. So there's no criminal behavior whatsoever that was ever engaged in that would be relevant to anything on a case where he's already been indicted on 16 charges. The grand jury investigation's over. We contend this grand jury subpoena was manufactured and given to Ms. Gaetani to make her a witness, just to make her a witness in the case, as a foundation for a witness intimidation charge later. And so what happened was Ms. Gaetani gets this summons for the following Wednesday. Gaetani gets the summons. She immediately goes... Yes, the following Wednesday, right. And she served that just right after Mr. Kearney gets completely free of any restrictions. And we contend this whole thing is revenge for him being freed up of any restrictions to go back to investigating these cases, exposing these very same officers that are charging him here, which is extremely questionable in terms of...
This has nothing to do with the restraining.
Well, it does. It actually does, Your Honor. I know it's convoluted, but sometimes it's convoluted, and I'm sorry, and I know the court will hear me, and when it's convoluted, and it is. And so he goes over there with this summons, and she then invites him over in contradiction to her statement. Yes, invites Mr. Kearney over and insists that he come over in person to talk about the summons and what to do. And she comes to him for help. And she says to him in the text messages and in their communications, and this is what Mr. Kearney will testify to. So this is just me talking. This is what Mr. Kearney is going to testify. She tells him that she has been cooperating with the people in the Reed case that are against Mr. Kearney. And she's sorry.
It's an offer.
Yes, this is an absolute offer. Yes, Mr. Kearney. And that she's been cooperating with the people that are aligned against Mr. Kearney relative to the Reed matter. Ms. McCabe, the witnesses that are accused of being the actual conspirators in the murder plot. And so she's been working with them, but pretending to still be his friend or his girlfriend or one or the other. And so she invites him over to makes up this story that she's pregnant and she needs to take some pills to end the pregnancy, et cetera, and that he needs to stay with her all night long. He doesn't want to go. He went there against my advice. He tried to talk to her in the conference room in the lobby of the building, and she got him upstairs to her apartment. And she, in a private setting.
What's going on?
This is my offer of proof, Judge, for why I need these documents that she either destroyed or is withholding from me. And so she brings him up there and won't let him leave. Contrary again to her affidavit that he's barging in and insisting on looking at everything. She invited him over, the evidence will show, to do this. She allows him to look at the interactions between her and these investigators, and he's taking notes, right? 5 pages of notes. In the middle of this, they have sexual relations. He says, I'm going home, I gotta go. That's what triggers her, consistent with several times in the past. When he would go home to his family, she would get very angry and upset. Consistent with that pattern, this night she gets very angry and upset. She steals his property. She steals his notes, and she stuffs them down her shirt. And Mr. Kearney does nothing in terms of any domestic violence whatsoever. He calmly speaks with her and says, "Can I please have those back?" Because that's the whole purpose of why she invited him over. He didn't engineer any of it. She won't give it back. She goes in the bedroom. She claims that she took these pills, that he needs to be there to make sure she's okay, because she has 4 children in the house as well at the very time. And he's stuck there. So he sits there, waits till she falls asleep, and leaves at 5 o'clock in the morning when she's asleep to get out of it. That's what the evidence will show from his testimony. And the next morning, she doesn't call the police about some supposed domestic violence incident, which, such as it is from their evidence, that he pushed her either into the couch or onto the couch, depending on which statement you want to put. But that's the whole incident, that after she stole his property, that he allegedly, in which we certainly adamantly deny, pushed her to the couch, to the couch. That's the whole bout of domestic violence here that we're dealing with. So she doesn't call the police. Then Detective Tully calls the head police. Consistent with our allegation, this whole thing is a setup, engineered. I mean, she was in touch with him. She was in touch with him when they met with the subpoena. She was in touch with him throughout this whole thing, which is why we're demanding these communications as our absolute right.
You know, maybe it's not civil, I think, not involved. Maybe it's not a discovery to this is to a civil. I can hear the testimony of both parties, any other witnesses necessary.
See, so it's a lawful subpoena, properly served. Counsel,
I said, let's hear the relevant.
thank you very much.
Everyone is proceed.
Judge, I'm sorry, there's one other thing about that. This proceeding has somehow been allowed to be issued without a sworn statement from the plaintiff. If you look at the 9 or 10 page statement that she wrote, that's an unsworn, a Medfield.
Actually, she testified. I believe I saw the record. I asked her whether everything was true and accurate. Take the record and speak for herself. In front of the witnesses, I asked her whether everything was accurate. She testified. All right. You can check the record.
I appreciate that, Your Honor. I don't need to check that record on that. Unfortunately, that I didn't believe it. Nonetheless, Your Honor, I think that the rules of civil procedure require that motion be supported by a written act. And I would like to have for my papers for the ongoing case a sworn statement under oath that she signs, at least incorporating that statement or such.
There it is.
Okay. May I see it, please, Judge? I'm sorry. I haven't seen that. You know, I know the Commonwealth is, thank you very much. I know the Commonwealth is very solicitous domestic violence complainants, but sometimes it puts a defendant at a disadvantage and it makes it very difficult like that. But
I appreciate that, thank you.
Oh,
She's been going on.
thank you. This is kind of, please state your name and spell it.
Lindsay Gaetani, Lindsay.
How old? What level of education do you have?
I have 2 college degrees, a bachelor's degree, 4-year degree, and I have a 2-year associate's degree in nursing as well, and my registered nursing.
Do you have any children?
I do. I
How old are you?
12, 5, 3, and 2.
Were you in a relationship with the defendant?
Yes.
Approximately when did that start?
So the beginning of September.
And approximately when did that relationship end?
It's the beginning of December.
So the relationship was roughly 3 months long?
Correct.
Was the relationship intimate?
Yes, it was.
Did he ever tell you that he loved you?
Yes.
Has he met your kids?
Yes.
Has he been to your house?
Yes.
Why did the relationship end?
We had a disagreement about personal medical issue.
Was that your pregnancy? That was the disagreement. What was his reaction when you told you were pregnant?
Initially,
Yeah.
nervous.
As time went on, what was that developed?
It changed throughout. He was nervous at first, then appeared to be somewhat supportive for a while. And then when he learned that I was hesitant about what to do regarding, he became very persuasive in trying to make a decision that he wanted.
Did he pressure you into making that decision?
Yes.
Did he ever say anything like he would kill himself if he did not have a procedure?
Yes.
Why did the relationship end?
Relationship ended because of the disagreement.
And after you broke up, never harassed you?
Yes.
Objection to the characterization.
Just say it's related, you raise the question.
After you broke up, did the defendant ever do anything concerning you?
Yes.
What?
He began making comments about me on his live YouTube shows and on his social media.
Did those comments frighten you?
Yes.
Did he ever threaten you with releasing any of your personal information?
Yes.
Did he ever threaten to release sensitive photos of you?
He didn't explicitly threaten to release the photo, but he did, in my opinion, taunt me by sending me screenshots of certain videos.
Did he ever send you any confidential documents pertaining to your children?
Yes.
Were you afraid of the defendant's actions?
Yes.
Now I want to discuss the evening of December 23rd. Did the defendant come over that evening?
Yes.
And he came over to talk about a subpoena he received?
Yes.
What was the subpoena, briefly, what was the subpoena about?
In regards to his pending charges through the Superior Court for witness intimidation.
And was the defendant angry about you receiving the subpoena?
Yes.
Objection, Judge, to the conclusory nature of the question.
What do you ask her, how?
Sorry, Your Honor, I'll rephrase it. Generally on these kind of hearings.
I don't.
So when the defendant arrived at your house, what happened?
When he arrived, he wanted to meet I live in an apartment complex. He wanted to meet in a conference center hall of my building. He was nervous and not being
Thank you. And at some point, did you start discussing the subpoena?
Yeah.
And what did the defendant ask?
He asked,
In as many words as you can.
well, he wanted to know why I was using it. He discussed getting me an attorney. Like, I did tell him that my phone would likely be subpoenaed and messages between us be recovered and shown. He discussed getting me an attorney. Said that he would pay for the attorney to prevent that from happening, that he would protect me. Instead that he wanted to go through
Objection, Your Honor, it's non-responsive.
He wanted to go through my phone and look at messages between me and another woman that had described her. Should I name her?
No, you can just.
Another woman, and that is related to the case, I guess. And he also wanted to add any messages between myself and the detectives, and
And did you let him look through your phone?
I did.
Why?
When I initially told him I was not going to let him look at my phone, he told me that he would destroy me and his lawyer would destroy me on the stand if I did end up embarrassing things from my past. And
So you were pressured into showing him your phone?
Yeah.
Did he take notes while he was looking at your phone?
he did.
After he took notes from looking at your phone, were you intimate with him?
Yes.
And after you had intimate relations with him, what happened?
After that,
Let me rephrase the question, I'm sorry. After you were intimate with him, then immediately leave, or did he stay around?
he stayed around.
Why did he stay around?
I took the abortion pills, said he would stay with me after I took them.
And after you took them, what did he do?
He said, all right, I gotta get going or something along with that.
And then, were you upset after you took them?
Yeah.
And what did you do?
I walked out of my bedroom where we've been in, and I saw a notepad on my birthday, and I then ripped the pages of notes and broken them on my shit.
And did that upset the defendant? What did he do to you?
He came up from behind me, my back was broken, and came into my bedroom. And at first he didn't know, I think, what I did. He said he what did you just do? And then he looked and saw that his notes were not there. And he grabbed me by the back of my shoulder, turned around, and my fist was like this. I believe he thought the notes were in my hand. And then he tried to grab my fist and he probably said, give me my notes back, yelling at me to get me the notes. And then when he saw they were in my hand, he got me some more. What did you do with them? And kind of pushed me in the process of trying to wrestle me for the notes. And my knees were at he pushed me into the couch and I fell thereafter. So,
Did that hurt?
no.
Were you frightened by it? And after the argument, did you eventually leave? He eventually leave? And sometime the next day, you spoke with the police, is that right?
Yeah.
Did you tell police officers that he was physical with you? As you sit here today, are you still in fear?
Yes,
You called the police, Ms. Gaetani? Who'd you call?
I first called Detective Ryan.
When did you first get in communication with Lieutenant Detective Tully?
I believe it was around mid-December.
When did you first meet him?
I first met him at my home.
How did that come about?
Someone had put me in contact with him.
Who was that?
Special Prosecutor Ken Mello,
And when did you start talking to him?
roughly around the same time, I think mid-December.
So you were in touch with the prosecutor, your boyfriend?
Objection, Your Honor. If we're going to get into the conspiracy stuff, I think you already will keep this focused on.
So you're in touch with the prosecutor of your boyfriend?
We had broken up roughly, I believe the date was December 9th, or somewhere in there.
But you didn't really break up, did you? Because you were together after that, you had sexual relations after that, correct?
Once we did, but we were no longer in a relationship.
So you revisited the relationship, it's fair to say.
I wouldn't say we revisited the relationship because there was only sexual at that time.
So sexual relations, but didn't engage in anything outside of sexual relations? So I'm just trying to be polite. Did you revisit the relationship with Mr. Kearney, or just have sex, or what was it?
To rephrase the question.
So how many times did you have sexual relations with Mr. Kearney after December 9th?
I believe it was one.
How many times did you send text messages to him? Probably hundreds, right?
I don't know.
Well, so just getting back to what counsel asked you about, you calling the police the next morning. What time did you call the police?
I don't recall.
Was it, and you didn't call 911, correct?
No.
So you didn't even call the Medfield police, did you?
I spoke with
But only after Lieutenant Tully called the Medfield police, right? And was that in your presence?
the phone call that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's just get the timeline right here. You wake up the next morning. What's the first thing you do relative to Mr. Kearney and what happened the night before?
I called Detective Ryan.
And was that a prearranged plan that you were going to call him after you had him come over?
No.
Did you agree to do that prior to him, Mr. Kearney, coming over? So let's rewind a little more. The day before, Lieutenant Detective Tully comes over with a subpoena, correct?
Correct.
And did you know that he was coming to see you?
No, I did not.
When he got to your house, was he alone or was he with anybody?
He was with another detective.
And what was his name?
I cannot.
And did they announce themselves as far as why they were there?
I wasn't home when they arrived.
When did you first see him?
They got there when I was gone. I got home and saw them at my place.
And what was the interaction? What did you say? What did he say?
I said hello. They asked if we could talk or somewhere private we could talk. So we went to the business center for the larger common area next to the business center.
And what did you talk about? What was the first thing that was said when you sat down?
I don't recall.
What do you recall?
That I said I was very nervous about getting involved with the pending case with Aidan, and I was very nervous about if he found out I were to testify, what he would do to retaliate against me.
In terms of testifying, I mean, he'd already been indicted, right, and arraigned.
Correct.
And did they explain to you why they were giving you a subpoena?
Judge, again, I object and just say that we're veering a little bit off of the reason we're here today. I'd ask that we keep it relevant.
Did they say why they're giving you a subpoena to an investigation that's already been resolved in the grand jury?
They said that I am a witness and that I'm being testify.
They said that that would protect you, didn't they?
No.
That if they made you a witness, that would protect you from Mr. Kearney, right?
No.
They didn't say that. No officer said that. That's your testimony? Okay. And once they served you with the subpoena, what did they say about what you were going to testify about?
Any
Objection relevance, Judge.
And hearsay, Your Honor.
Well, hearsay is admissible as well.
It goes to our defense, Your Honor, that this whole thing's a setup, that she actually had nothing to testify about.
Oh, hell, right.
you told me that there was going to be another grand jury and that I would
Did you ever prep with them for your testimony?
well, because that was the first that I learned from.
So summons was for the following Wednesday, right? So it was for the week, it was about a week away, right? And did you ever meet with them to prep your testimony?
That was the first day I got the phone, so I had never prepped it.
Right. From then until the date, did you ever meet with them to prep your testimony? Did you do that on this?
What date are you referring to?
The date on the
Before this
subpoena.
hearing, this incident, I'll allow it. If it's anything after this incident, it's excluded, okay? Next question.
Just trying to catch up to you, Your Honor. Sorry.
Anything up till the 20 date she contacted the 26th. Is that right, Counsel?
She contacted Detective Tully on the 24th.
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 Anything up to the 24th, I'll allow. Anything after.
So if I could make an offer of proof, the reason I'm questioning that is because the fact that she was served a subpoena, you would think that if it was a legitimate investigation rather than engineering an
No,
incident.
it's not relevant to this hearing. It's a civil hearing. It may be relevant to something else, another hearing between the parties, but it's not relevant to this.
All right, thanks. Please know my
Anything
objection.
up to 24th.
So on the 24th of December, you received a subpoena. Sorry, on the 22nd, you received a subpoena, correct? All right. And then how long after you received the subpoena and the detectives left were you in touch with Mr. Kearney?
I don't recall. I know, I think I that night, but I don't.
If I could just have one moment, please. Your Honor. So isn't it true that you called Mr. Kearney at about 4 p.m. on the 22nd? Only an hour, let's say, plus or minus, Lieutenant Detective Tully and his partner back.
Could be correct in that time.
So you don't remember the details of this, did you?
I remember calling him, but I don't know.
So it was the same day though, right? It wasn't at 10 o'clock at night. It wasn't dark out. It was the same day, right? Okay. So Tully leaves you a subpoena for a grand jury investigation next week. By the way, did you ever testify? Just yes or no?
No, it's being rescheduled.
So it was canceled. So you never testified. Okay. Have you ever been back in touch with them about arranging a date?
I have been in touch with them, but we haven't figured out anything because of the court date of them.
So it's just floating out there with no date on it, right? So you get the subpoena. Did you make any sort of a plan with these detectives to contact Aidan about it?
No.
Did they tell you whether to contact him or not?
I asked them if I was allowed, and they said,
So they said yes. They didn't say, gee, well, since you've had so many problems with him, you should probably not contact him. They didn't say anything like that.
no.
They said it was okay to contact him,
They didn't. They said that it was okay. I asked if it was okay.
and they didn't discourage you, did they? They said it was okay.
They said yeah.
Did you tell them that you were going to contact him?
No.
So they leave, you get on the phone with Aidan, and you tell him what happened, right?
Yeah.
And then there was some texting that happened after that. And just to summarize it, the texting was that you were sorry that you got involved with this. You were sorry that you spied on him for people that are antagonistic to him in the Reed case, and that you just wanted to get out of the whole thing.
Yeah, one question at a time.
Sure, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
3 questions.
Sure. The gist of your communications with him was that you were sorry for taking the position against him, and that you just wanted to get out of it somehow, right?
Could you rephrase the question?
Sure. You contacted him, and you had a change of heart back to Mr. Kearney, and you wanted to communicate with him, and you told him you were sorry about getting involved with the other side, right?
I told him I was sorry, but it was related.
And what was it in relation to?
He was angry that I had been in contact with a woman he was not fond of,
And who's that?
Kate Peter.
And what's the gist of your knowledge of the relationship between Peter and Mr. Kearney?
As far as I know, they have had an ongoing for several years. She also has a YouTube show, and they go at it each other. I don't really, that's the next thing, that they argue a lot and court proceedings with each other.
And when you broke up with Mr. Kearney near the 9th of December, thereabouts, you then started to give Ms. Peter information, is that right?
Objection for relevance.
Sustain.
Counsel wants to engage in discovery.
I said sustain.
Thank you, Judge.
So just to get back to this evening, you invited Mr. Kearney over to talk more in person, right?
I sent him a picture of his son, and that first night, that was Friday, the 22nd, he said that he was not going to come over, that you, Mr. Bradl, his attorney, had advised him not to. And then he came over the next day, the 23rd. He wanted to talk about it in person.
So we agreed that you invited him over to do this, right?
I wouldn't say I'd invited him. on Friday. Friday was the first thing I did invite him over on Friday.
So on 12/22, you sent him a text that says, "Can you come over tonight?"
Yeah, I got my date picked up. Friday I did invite that, and he did not come though.
Now, that's different than what your affidavit says, isn't it? Did you look at your affidavit in preparation for today? You don't remember that you said that he, words to the effect that he barged in and he demanded to see it, he demanded to come over and interrogate you?
Objection, Your Honor.
Mr. Stain, the affidavit speaks for itself.
All right, we'll go through it, Your Honor.
Your Honor, just to note an objection that we were handed text messages and flash drive about 5 minutes before coming up here. We haven't had
Anytime, you didn't have to review it?
Well, it depends on how much Mr. Bradl's going to get into it.
5 minutes before.
Judge, I just met these gentlemen this morning. I had no idea they existed.
It was literally, here, this is what I'm going to get into, is a million text messages. See up there.
Take a recess to
Yes, we have. Unfortunately, I had some issues opening them, but I got the past 10 minutes. I got through 60% of the time.
You know, Judge, just for the record on that, I mean, she's the moving party. She had a summons with my address and phone number, and I think she already had my card before that. You know, they wanted to look at this stuff before today. They could have reached out to me. I didn't know they even existed until this morning. So I would just want you to think that I was holding on to something that I could have given. Thank you. Thank you. So, Ms. Gaetani, we were talking about your texting with Mr. Kearney on 12/22. Okay, and I have it here, and you can look at it. And if you want me to approach and show you can do that. But I'm just going to try to question you on it. But, you know, your memory is in and out, so if you want me to show you, I'll be happy to show you, okay? So, at about 2:45 p.m., Mr. Kearney reached out to you on the 22nd and said, "Hey, sorry I missed your call. Did you watch?" Meaning, did you watch his arraignment that morning? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, had you been served with this subpoena by then?
I don't believe so. No, I have not. I know.
And you mentioned that, you know, you were busy and you said congratulations about the arraignment. Very happy for you, right? And he says thanks. Remember that?
Right.
And you say to him, "I really have to talk to you, though, about something. I'll be tied up for the next couple hours, though." Remember saying that?
I do.
And that is a reference to meeting with the police?
I believe.
So you were texting him this right before you went into your meeting with the police?
I was in the main lobby of my complex getting my mail, and when I saw the detectives, and I was simultaneously texting with Aidan.
And when Aidan asks you about what? About what are you tied up about, right? And you say, "Don't text me until I call you back," right?
Yes.
And you don't want him to be on the record, so to speak, texting you when you're talking to the police? Is that what that's about?
No.
You say, "Don't text me until I call you back." He says, "Why?" And you don't answer him. You just say again, "Don't call or text," right? And why was that?
Because I was going to be meeting detectives, and I didn't want my phone call. I wouldn't be able to take any calls.
And then he says, "Why?" again, and you don't explain again. You say, "Just don't," right?
Correct.
And he thinks that's shady, right? He says back, shady.
Correct.
And it was shady, wasn't it?
Define shady.
This whole thing was shady because it was a setup to get Mr.
Objection, Your Honor.
Vote, right?
Sustain.
Withdrawn. After he says shady, you invite him over, right?
This is the 22nd referring to?
Yep.
Yeah.
You say to him, "Can you come over tonight?" Right?
Yeah.
And that's on the 22nd, right?
Correct.
You're not afraid of him.
At that point, no.
He's never laid a hand on you.
No.
You invite him over. But your testimony is that you've been broken up since the 9th of December, right?
Correct.
Now you want him to come over. Why'd you want him to come over?
Discuss.
Why didn't you just text with him or communicate with him? If he was doing all these horrible things to you, putting things on the internet, threatening you, demanding this, demanding that, why not just send him the screenshots, the text messages?
Because I believe it's easier to talk to somebody in person, to have a conversation.
Because you still wanted to use this subpoena to get back together with him, right?
False.
Well, you could have texted, you could have added to the thousands of pages of text, pictures, sexting, everything you've communicated on the Facebook text record, but you chose to use this subpoena to have him come over tonight, in your words, right?
No.
Well, isn't that what you just said? You said, "Can you come over tonight?" Because you wanted to discuss the subpoena, right?
I didn't use him to have him come back. I wanted to discuss this.
Right. So I'm just going to echo those words again. You just said, "I wanted to discuss the subpoena in person," right? That was your testimony just now.
Yeah.
That's different than your affidavit, isn't it?
Which part?
Where you paint a picture in your affidavit that Mr. Kearney is the one that's desperate to.
Objection, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have a copy of the affidavit?
I do, Your Honor.
Page, start on the bottom of page 4, Your Honor. I messaged Aidan a picture of my summons. So up until then in your affidavit, you were talking about how you were afraid of him revealing information about me, right?
Correct.
And at that point, you had betrayed his trust, right? Yeah. You know what betrayed his trust means?
I don't
Objection, Your Honor. You can ask the question without harassing her.
You went to the other side against him, and you communicated with them, and you fed the police, his rival, Ms. Peter, the witnesses that he say are the actual murder conspirators in the Reed case. You were cooperating with them and feeding them information on Mr. Kearney, right?
Objection to relevance. Thank you.
So I'm just explaining the betrayed the trust, Judge.
No, I know, one question at a time.
I'm sorry. So you betrayed his trust.
I don't believe I did that. I believe I've done things here. I've wrong, and I have a right to have another friend build my relationship.
We'll leave it there. Then you're afraid that because you did that he would retaliate, right? And perhaps another word for retaliating or threatening to do something is that he's trying to defend himself from what he found out was your attacks on him. Isn't that another way of putting it?
Objection, Your Honor.
I messaged Aidan a picture of my summons because I thought that if he knew they were forcing me to testify, then he wouldn't retaliate against me. So he had ulterior motives. Then you write, he wanted to meet up to discuss my summons in person. That's a lie, isn't it? Your text message is literally, can you come over tonight? Correct?
Are you referring to the 22nd?
Yes.
I did clarify this already on the 22nd. I have
I think the testimony was that.
But it's fair to say that you started the notion of having him come in person, right?
Yes, and when he said he would not advise, I said fine. I have a text message where I said fine.
You said more
And
than
then the
fine,
next
didn't
day, I did, and then the next day.
you? What else did you say?
Your Honor, can my client testify, please, without constant interruptions?
The next day was when he willingly reached out again and wanted to meet up. And I did say it was.
Well, you didn't say fine when he said that advice of counsel, I shouldn't go over there. You said, fine, that's your decision. Then if you're looking out for yourself, I have to look out for myself. I won't be calling Tim. He says, I'm just doing what my lawyer told me to do. And you said, yup, and now I have to get one and listen to mine, and they're going to find out about the baby. That's what you said, right?
Well, those seconds were, I said the first part first, and then I said it, by the way, they're also going to find out about the baby. Because Detective Tully and the other detective whose name I can't remember, they came to my house. They asked me why I was still in it, and I told them it was a personal matter that I did not want to discuss.
So you thought that it would help you at the time to get Aidan to your place if you threatened to tell him that you were going to reveal the existence of a baby.
No, I was warning him just, no, they are going to find out because they were asking me questions about why we were still in contact with Tully.
He says who, and you say grand jury. Tully and the other guy asks, and then it just stops, right? Then that's it for the 22nd. So it's fair to say on the 22nd, you invited him over and it didn't work out, right?
He did not come over.
And that made you mad
No, I did not.
because you threatened to get a lawyer and go after him, right?
I threatened to get a lawyer, that I would have to get a lawyer.
Then on the 23rd, you initiate contact at around 12:19 p.m. Out of the blue, you contact him and you say to him, I don't deserve you to love him.
Oh,
Okay.
there were many messages before that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the messages leading up to that, or just cherry pick?
Well, Mr. Abraham, you said that was.
This is all I have, Your Honor. This is what and I have an exhibit to
You
give
say that
you.
comes all you have.
This is the text string. There's no other
Well, your
message.
client,
This is it. I have it right here.
well, apparently he said, counsel was saying it was a.
I disagree. I don't have anything else.
My understanding is that the defendant has a history of manipulating text messages and chains to make it look like, to fit the story that he's telling.
Your client has a.
Yeah, I have not fully collected her cell phone and reviewed every single message from her, but her testimony
She
today.
just testified to that.
Exactly, thank you.
So her testimony was there was something leading up to it.
Yeah, sure. And
No question was it the first text message?
Absolutely, Judge. The suggestion that anything's been messed with is completely rejected. It's completely false. And I have an entire string.
Your Honor, did you share this with me on the cassette drive?
Yes.
Okay. I just haven't seen it. What did
Well, she's the moving party, Judge. So all this stuff about, oh, we're not ready, They're the moving party. They didn't contact me. So what do you want? I mean, the suggestions that we're doing something to hide something are offensive.
They just have a right to look at what you're
Absolutely.
approaching here with.
Absolutely. They can look all they want.
Your Honor, we'll let her testify to what is true or not regarding the conversation. I haven't had a chance to review this message yet, but
Don't you have them?
You have the spreadsheet. It's on the spreadsheet.
thank you. This is not the easiest thing to navigate, Your Honor. So he sent me a spreadsheet. I don't have what he's looking at right now unless there's links in the spreadsheet.
I trust they have their client's phone, so I'm giving them things that are their clients. So, Judge, I could just lead it.
I think your last statement on the record didn't do that.
Sure. Let me try it this way, Judge. There was no texting leading up to that. You may have spoken with them on
No,
the
there were
phone.
many of that.
Okay. So, do you have them? Let's see them.
I don't have my
In
phone.
fact, you were subpoenaed to bring them here, and you didn't do that,
I
did
can
you?
testify for that.
Can you show us?
I don't have my phone with me right now, but I can
Go ahead.
Do you have any proof of it?
Go ahead.
There was a lengthy conversation before that message about I don't deserve to love me, about with Aidan interrogating me if I had been in touch with Miss Kate Peter.
Just so we're clear, you're talking about a phone conversation.
No, I am talking about, or it might have been on Facebook Messenger. It was in some sort of text, either Facebook Messenger or regular text. I believe it was Facebook Messenger.
And what was said?
Many things. It was a very lengthy conversation where he was accusing me of, he had a documentary that was supposedly to be put out by Netflix, and it was canceled. And he was accusing me of getting it canceled because of information that I gave to Kate Peter.
Did that happen?
No.
Did you give information against him to Kate Peter?
Against him, I spoke about our relationship to Kate in private, venting about our relationship, not supplying her with information, whatever you're doing.
Well, let's try it this way. You gave Miss Kate Peter information that put Mr. Kearney in a bad light.
I suppose so.
So you're communicating with Mr. Kearney on texting through a phone and through Facebook Messenger
This night,
on the 23rd.
the 23rd, I can't recall. I know the majority of it was on Messenger.
So that's a yes.
Your Honor, are we going to get to something relevant to the evening of December 23rd? Or?
So it's fair to say that in the Facebook Messenger items, that's where you admit that you've been talking to other people on the other side against Mr. Kearney.
Messenger messages were, the majority of them were Aidan trying to make me admit that I'd been talking to Kate. And then after a lengthy period of time and him badgering me about talking to Kate, I finally got very upset and we had a phone conversation. And this was after he had sent me a link that I opened, which contained confidential, very sensitive information about my children that are non-public documents that he admitted to getting by using another attorney friend login credentials for Netflix.
So
that is
let
why
me
I
just
cried.
ask you another question, because this isn't a situation where you're allowed to just give a narrative unless
Oh,
the
I
court
thought so.
says so.
That's fine.
So I'd like to just ask you the next question, if I may.
Sure.
So in this Facebook Messenger texting, you apologized to him, right?
I believe so.
You said, "I'm sorry this all happened," right?
Yes.
And Mr. Kearney is very gracious about it, isn't he?
I would have to say.
Judge, I've lost track of what date we're in and what the relevance is here. I'd object to this line of questioning.
That's what happens when you come into a case the morning of the case, Judge, so it's not my problem.
I'm just asking that he clarify his questions. I'm getting lost.
And Mr. Kearney says to you, and this is along the lines of my suggestion, he's being very gracious. He says, "And if you confess to me that you've done all this, I would forgive you. I know you're expecting me to be the person Kate told you is me. And years ago I may have been, but I'm not that person anymore. I'm not vengeful. I don't care how badly you wronged me. It hurt the part about Allison and my mom becoming public. It hurt when Chrissy did it too, but life is too short for grudges."
Your Honor, objection again to relevance.
Well, Judge, if I may, she's saying that he's hostile and angry and she's scared of him. I forgive you. It's okay.
Your Honor, this
Things
is
that are inconsistent with that.
related to the incident of abuse. This is all stuff that's happened before the incident.
This is her luring him over that. He says, "It's really okay if you want to tell me the truth. We can talk about it and I won't hold it against you. I don't want to be your enemy." And that's when you said, "I'm sorry this has all happened," right?
Correct.
He's gracious. He's conciliatory. He's not threatening. There's no reason to be afraid of Mr. Kearney, right?
There was, because he did threaten me with private, confidential documents about my children. Just because you say, I'm going to release these documents, that's not a threat, not a threat.
But if he is in need of defending himself against your betrayal, isn't he entitled to that?
Published documents he has no legal access to
If
on the
they
internet.
destroy your credibility, it certainly is, isn't it?
No, it's illegal for him to get those documents in the first place.
Where's it illegal?
Objection, Judge. She's not an attorney. She doesn't know what's legal and not
So
legal.
then I strike the testimony, move to strike the testimony. So after you,
As I understand, only lawyer cut like next.
yes, Your Honor. So there's just for the record on that, Judge, I think there's a bit of a conflation there, okay? In the sense that mass courts wouldn't have sealed or impounded or confidential documents on it. Mass courts is just a way for certain people that are allowed to get into it to access the court dockets, but it's really just a reflection of what you would get when you went to the clerk's office. And so I don't want the court, I know the court certainly knows this, but I just want to suggest for the record that I think the witness is conflating access to public documents through mass courts with going to the courthouse and getting them when you would absolutely be entitled to do so. And Mr. Kearney is an investigative journalist who's very good at what he does. And he would, when he's attacked by someone, he has every right, as we all do, to go and get documents that he could use to defend himself. And that's what's happening here. Because she happens to know something about a journalist having access to mass courts, and he's certainly not the only journalist probably in this room that has access to mass courts.
Is it argument that he went to her home against your advice, to get information against this witness?
No, Your Honor. No. I'm saying that I'm addressing her statement that she's afraid of him because of this stuff. She created the situation by betraying his trust, by going to these people and spilling all this invective about him to them to use against him. So she's claiming that she's claiming she's afraid of him, Your Honor, and she's here inviting him to the house and apologizing. And Mr. Kearney is acting in the text messages completely inconsistent with the idea that he's a threatening, horrible person when he's like, I forgive you, it's okay, tell the truth. These are the things in their text stream that he's telling her. Completely contradicts, we contend, her affidavit. So you said, I'm sorry this has all happened. And then he says, do you want to talk about it? I promise I won't be mad at you, right? Just one moment, please, Ryan. I'm just switching back to the text. So now on the 23rd at 12:19 p.m., then for whatever reason, you guys switch back to texting, right?
Can you repeat that?
At 12:19 p.m. on 12:23, you're now texting, and that's where you say to him, the first text of the day is, I don't deserve you to love me, right?
I can't recall if we had switched to text at that point.
Do you want to see it? Sure. May I approach on it?
You have that count?
Yes. Thank you. So we agree that the first text of the day is 12:19 p.m. You say to him, I don't deserve you to love me, right?
Correct, but just to clarify, it's 12:19 and like we had been talking up until midnight, so it's not like I knew, right? We had just continued our conversation
So
from Messenger.
I can show it to you again, but the text stream says 12:19 p.m. Does that refresh your memory at all?
Can I see it one more time? I'm
Sure.
sorry, I didn't look at
It's
the.
perfectly fine. May I approach, John?
Okay, there was similar.
So we agree it's 12:19 p.m., right?
Yes, correct.
I don't deserve you to love me. And then you say, I'm so sorry, right?
Correct.
And he responds, maybe not, meaning maybe you don't deserve to love him, but I do. I believe in forgiveness, and holding on to hate makes me a worse person. I cannot help but feel empathy for you. I don't expect you to understand. I believe that you are truly sorry. I believe you would take it back if you could, right?
Correct.
Meaning the betrayal.
That's right. Sure.
So then you text back a long paragraph, right?
Still.
For texting anyway, as far as texting goes, about 10 lines. You say, in response to him saying, I believe you are truly sorry, I believe you'd take it back, you say, I am and I would. You are sorry and you would take it back, right?
Yes.
Now, why would you take back what you did with respect to Kate Peter and the police and everything else?
Objection, relevance.
Stay.
I have loved you and still do, right? That's what you said. I know there's no excuse. I was hurt and angry and also very scared and felt desperate. I'm not a demon. You say some things, and if counsel wants to put the rest of it in, they can certainly do it, but I'm just going to go down in the interest of time to halfway down the message. Everything that's going on scared me, and I felt like I have a thumb drive, Judge, I'm going to offer, yeah. Everything that's going on scared me, and I felt like I had no one to turn to or confide in or even vent to. I know now I made a big mistake talking to her, meaning Kate Peter, right? But my feelings were always real. I'm so sorry. And then you say something to get him over to your house, right?
I don't know.
You said, but I think we should save anything else for in person. So you gave him some, and now you're saying, come on over for the rest, right?
I'm saying it's easier to speak about it in person instead of typing long text messages.
And then he said, agreed in person. He agreed with your invitation, correct?
Correct.
You're the first person on the 23rd, just like you were the first person on the 22nd, to say, come over.
Incorrect. We had a phone conversation, I believe, prior to this message.
And when was that?
I just said I believe it was prior to this text message.
And Mr. Kearney's demeanor and graciousness were displayed in those conversations as well, weren't they?
I wouldn't say so.
Okay. So there's no memorial of these conversations, correct?
Not that I'm aware of.
And you didn't bring your phone, even though you got the subpoena on Friday, right?
No, I don't have my phone.
So we don't have any way to look at or test your claim on that, right?
Your Honor, she's testifying about a telephone conversation.
And these phone conversations were how many, first of all?
I don't recall.
And when were they?
That I believe it was prior to that text.
And after, it's fair to say that after all of the discussion back and forth on the phone, is your testimony now, on Facebook Messenger and on texting, the only records we have are you inviting him over on the 22nd, and he says, no, advice of counsel. And then you on the 23rd, the only thing we have to look at is you inviting him over, but I think we should save anything else for in person, right?
I can't recall because I don't have messages like my phone in front of me.
Yeah, I approach her. But you just said that you couldn't recall.
Right, but I think we asked prior to it. You're not going to scroll down.
My question is, in terms of the written record, all we have,
But you didn't scroll down so I could see the written.
we'll get to that. But I'm
Counsel will have a chance to ask some questions after.
we'll get to the rest of it, but I'm just saying, up until now, on the 23rd, the written record from the texting and Facebook is, you invite him both days to come over, right?
The second day, as I said, it was a mutual decision.
It was a mutual decision. The written record just shows that you're talking about it, and Mr. Kearney hasn't said anything about, I want to come over.
He did on the,
He did on the phone, the
I can't
part of the voluminous record that we don't have and we can't verify, right?
Well, it's kind of argumentative.
So it's fair to say that the written record that we have shows only you inviting him over. Is that a fair statement?
I don't think that's fair because I can't scroll down and see the other messages prior to that.
You can. Well, you're the moving party now, so you have
But
your
you're asking me, I'm
information.
giving you my answer. That's my answer.
So
I don't know what it's you want me to say. I don't know because I can't see that.
isn't it true that in your affidavit you say that you want him to leave you alone and not bother you, right?
Which date are we referring to? Because there were several times after we broke up where I did ask him to leave me alone and stop talking about me on his live shows, and I just wanted to move on with my life. But then when he wouldn't, we went back and forth.
So
There's a lot of different conversations.
sure. So if that's the state of affairs, then you get a subpoena, then you're sorry, then you love him, then you don't deserve to be loved by him. You invite him over on the 22nd, and you invite him over on the 23rd. All that's correct, right?
Except the last part we said it was a mutual decision on the 23rd. And I was very scared after he threatened me with those confidential documents about my children and releasing them. So yes, I did want to talk to him in person, and I did say I was sorry because I wanted to say anything he wanted me to hear to prevent him from releasing those documents.
But that's not what you say, is it? You say things like, I don't deserve you to love me, meaning I love you, right?
I said anything at that point
Okay, so let's get to that. You're saying anything that comes to mind at this point?
about the interaction with Kate Peter, how he was angry about that and wanted me to apologize.
So what you're saying is that you're a person that will say untruths as they see as you
Objection,
see
Your Honor.
fit
This is
to
about
fit the particular situation.
Sustain.
So is it not true what you said?
With what?
I don't deserve you to love me.
I do not believe that I did anything wrong in talking to Kate
I'm
Peter.
not asking what you believe.
But
I'm
as
asking-
far as apologizing to him for that part, I did not believe I had to say that I was sorry.
So is it fair to say that you're manipulating him here?
No, I think I was being manipulated by being threatened with when it comes to my children, private information about my children, being threatened to have that released.
But don't you
Like any
think
mother.
someone deserves to try to defend themselves when they're betrayed and they believe that it's unfair and not accurate?
Objection, Judge.
Sustain.
When you got the subpoena, you used the subpoena to have him come over. Is that a fair statement?
I don't believe I used it to have him come over. It was a mutual decision.
Well, that was the reason for him to come over, right? Was to look at the subpoena and look at the messages between yourself and Ms. Peter with respect to the betrayal and with any messages between you and Tully and Mella,
I
right?
did not know before he came over that he was going to demand to go through him.
That's the whole purpose of you inviting him over, was that you wanted him to help you get out of it Isn't that right?
Incorrect.
You said it was a mistake, right?
With regards to,
Cooperating with Kate Peter and the people that,
you're using the word cooperate, but I was speaking and venting.
giving them information, giving his rival,
Peter is not-
people that want to destroy him, information. Isn't that a betrayal? Can we just encapsulate it in one word?
Objection, relevance.
To say,
You said that you wanted to undo it, right?
Undo what?
You said that you wish you could take it back.
Correct.
And the reason you wish you could take it back was because it was a betrayal.
Over your words, then.
I'm asking if that's accurate.
I believe I betrayed you.
So, did you lie to him
So what?
about being pregnant?
No.
So you were pregnant from Mr. Kearney. Is that your testimony? Yes? Did you ever produce any sort of proof of that?
Yes.
Did you send him a picture of a pregnancy test?
Yes.
We've been looking at counsel. Do you need a minute to
Because I
speak
don't
with
believe I
counsel?
should have to talk about my personal medical information, but
So you sent Mr. Kearney a picture of a pregnancy test that was from May of 2023, didn't you?
I don't know it.
The pregnancy test picture was a screenshot of a pregnancy test from well before you were ever with Mr. Kearney. Isn't that correct?
Objection, Judge, relevance.
So, Judge, the offer of proof is that Miss sent Mr. Kearney a picture of a pregnancy test because Mr. Kearney didn't believe that she was pregnant and that she was using the pregnancy to manipulate him into coming over, not leaving, staying with her, and manipulating him all sorts of ways with respect to So-
text message?
Sure. So the text message was sent, if I can just have one moment, Judge. 12/8, it was sent to him.
The day before the,
Yes, 12/8. And it is a simple thing to do. If you look at, 12/9. If you look at the metadata of the photograph, which shows when it was made, and anyone can just click on it and see it. And it was made in May of 2023. It was a fake representation to Mr. Kearney that these tests showed she was pregnant by him, when in fact these were old tests from May of 2023. So, Ms. Gaetani, isn't it true that you used a photograph of old pregnancy tests from May 2023 to trick Mr. Kearney into thinking you were pregnant by him in November, December of 2023? Did you do that or not?
No, I'm not trying to trick you.
My question is, did you present those photographs to Mr.
Yes.
Kearney?
I presented the photograph.
So we agree that you deceived him. You presented photographs from May of 2023 showing that there was a positive pregnancy test, right? You don't know what I'm talking about. Well, where did you get these pregnancy tests? Do you need a moment to talk to counsel? Judge, I have no objections, just trying to speak to counsel. That's fine with me.
If you need a moment.
So, Ms. Gaetani, when we left off, you had mentioned that the photographs of the pregnancy tests that you proffered over to Mr. Kearney were from May of 2023. Is that right?
Can you repeat that?
The photographs that you sent to Mr. Kearney showing a positive pregnancy test after he had been inquiring for proof were not responsive proof to Mr. Kearney being involved with that baby, right?
Your question is what?
You took a screenshot from May of 2023 of pregnancy tests and you sent it to Mr. Kearney, right? So it's your testimony that the screenshot that you sent to Mr. Kearney was not a screenshot from May of 2023. It was not a screenshot of a pregnancy test from a pregnancy that Mr. Kearney never had anything to do with.
No.
That's your testimony.
Objection, Your Honor. I'm having a hard time finding the metadata that you're talking about.
well, I think she's testified that 3 times.
Yeah.
So, next question, please.
And we're over an hour into testimony and we haven't even gotten to that event that the actual restraining order is about. So to the extent.
It's on the spreadsheet.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, in response to you saying that you were pregnant to Mr. Kearney said that he wanted to take responsibility, get custody, and be involved if you were in fact pregnant, right?
Well, his response has changed quite a few times over the course of the time.
Mr. Bradl, what's the relevance of this line of thing? I know they're giving you a lot of leeway here, and I think we have to get up to,
Because it directly contradicts her affidavit, Your Honor, that he was hostile and angry to her and again, it's sort of like the other one where I said that he was gracious instead of angry and hostile to her. Here, she's saying that she's pregnant and she's already implied to this court that he's kind of a deadbeat about it or just is angry about it or hostile. And that's what contributes to the hostility against her in this domestic case. And it probably falls under the umbrella of being able to present a full picture of the relationship, Your Honor. So I would ask just for a little bit more leeway on it. Thank you, Your Honor. So this counsel is 22nd of December.
On the Facebook Messenger.
On Facebook Messenger. You say to him, relative to this topic of him wanting to be involved with the pregnancy, you say, what part of I don't want you involved don't you get? And don't worry, you will see in due time. And he says, it doesn't matter if you want me involved, Lindsay. If I was the father of your child, I would have legal custodial rights. You remember that exchange?
I'm just going to object, Judge, on relevance grounds.
Man, I can't answer your question.
Did
Did you read that correctly?
I read the question correctly.
I'm sorry. Did I read it?
Yeah.
If you want to take a look at the question about the rest of it.
I'll review whatever you submitted to evidence. The thumb drive with respect to text messages back and forth between the parties, I'm told stipulate, right?
Yeah. If we can speed this process up, we'd stipulate to it.
Sure, Judge. I gave a copy of the thumb drive to counsel this morning, and I have a copy for the court.
No objection, if
Certainly.
in the sense that we'll move this thing along. And not,
And I gave counsel a list of everything that's on here. I'll give the same list to Madam Clerk. So, Judge, I'm just wrapping this up right now. You said, what part of I don't want you involved don't you get? Meaning, leave me alone and I'm going to do it myself, right? And he says, well, if I'm the father, I have custodial rights. Words like that, right? And then you say, no, you won't, because I'll say it's someone else's, right? That's what you said back then. So let's unpack that for a minute. You told him that you would lie about who the father was, right? And so you realize that if Mr. Kearney were to press his custodial rights, that would be in a probate court or a family court, right? So what you're saying is that you were going to go into a probate or family court and say it was someone else's, right?
Objection, that's not what she was saying, Judge.
Sure. And I'm asking about her state of mind in the sense of, again, manipulating and that kind of thing. So I would ask for a question in terms of the state of mind. Sure. You're expressing your intent to portray a different scenario in court if there was a custodial fight over the baby, right?
Nothing about court.
But that was your state of mind when you said that, right?
No, my court.
Well, he said he wanted custodial rights, right? And that gets litigated where?
Judge, objection.
That gets litigated in court, right?
Objection.
And you try to defeat any suggestion that he might have custodial rights by saying that you were going to lie, right? And is there anywhere else that we haven't gotten to here today where you've done a similar thing in terms of lying?
Objection, never admitted to lying.
So it's fair to say that at the time the issue of custodial rights came up, you made a decision that suited you and your needs to lie. Nothing.
Ms. Gaetani, you were pregnant in December of 2023, and it was the defendant's child. And after the incident, you were frightened by Mr.
What incident?
After the incident on December 23rd, thank you, Your Honor. You were frightened by the
Objection in the form.
That's a standard objection. Let me rephrase the question.
Okay. How did you feel after December in regards to that?
Extremely scared.
And that's because he has such a wide reach, is that right?
Objection.
No.
Because he was physical with you, is that right?
Correct.
And just downstairs a moment ago, you got a telephone call, is that right? And that was from your children's school, is that right?
Correct.
Objection.
Yeah.
Quiet, please. Judges on the bench.
Thank you.
Further?
Nothing further, Judge.
Holly.
Going over here.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, sir. Aidan,
Aidan Kearney, A.R.,
where do you go?
Worcester, Massachusetts.
Where do you live now? And are you married? Do you have children?
I do.
What do you do for a living?
Independent journalist and content creator.
And how long have you been selling for?
10 years.
What did you do before that?
I was a high school teacher and
How long? And, just a brief bit about your educational background.
I graduated at the University of Massachusetts. I have certificates in education and postgraduate.
Okay. Obviously, we're here today because this plaintiff, Ms. Gaetani, has sought a restraining order against you, implicating the issue of whether there's a risk of you inflicting imminent serious bodily harm on her, correct? And have you ever laid a hand on her in any sort of an assaultive way?
Never.
When did you meet her?
First time I met her was September 4th.
September 4th?
Yeah, we spoke in September 4th, met her in September.
So she reached out to you?
That's correct.
And what was the nature of that?
She was hitting on me, flirting with me, telling me she wanted to have sex. And so I agreed to meet with her for sex after therapy.
So there was a suggestion from her about a sexual relationship?
Oh, yes,
And did you take her up on that?
I did.
When was the first time that happened? And was there an ongoing relationship with Ms. Gaetani beyond a sexual one?
We went out for a few dates. I did have feelings for her. I feel deceived at this point. At a certain time, I definitely have feelings.
And at some point, the notion of her being pregnant came up. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then tell the court a little bit about that.
She told me on November 9th that she was pregnant and that it's something to the effect of, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Before I even initiated my opinion on that, she told me, so she suggested that she was going to terminate the pregnancy. And later on, her feelings started to change and she said that she was against abortion and she didn't want to have one. And I had said to her that whatever you want, it's up to you. It's not my decision, it's your decision. And eventually she agreed that she was going to she made an appointment to get an abortion on November 27th. That's what she told me she was. And she wanted me to sleep over her house on November 26th so that I could drive to make it Brooklyn. So I did. And then in the morning of the 27th, she said, I don't want you to come. I'm going to do this alone. And I said, okay, but so I went to a Panera Bread in Worcester, and I waited there for her in case she changed her mind and she needed a ride home. She texted me at 9:30 a picture from what she purported to be the abortion clinic, saying she had second thoughts.
Just stop there.
Yeah.
So as an investigative journalist, you work with digital photographs and you use them all the time, right?
Correct.
What were you able to find out with respect to the photograph from the Brookline clinic?
We were able to find out that the picture she sent me was from December 2021.
And did you talk to her about that?
At the time, I was still under the impression that she was actually at the clinic. She was deceiving me, and she told me that she was having second thoughts. I spoke to her on the phone. I said, you can do what you want, but the fact of the matter is that we live an hour of each other, so only one of us can have custody.
And what was her reaction to that?
She hung up the phone and said she was going to do it, and then
You what?
get an abortion.
And then what happened?
And then, so I spent the rest of the day in the bed about 6 hours texting her, are you okay? Do you need anything? Do you need a ride home? And I said, it's okay if you didn't do it, whatever you want. I'm here to support you. I called her several times that night, and I went to bed on the night of the 27th having no idea whatsoever if she was pregnant or not, or if she had gotten an abortion, because she was essentially just messing with my head. And so I had no idea.
Had you ever asked her for proof of this?
That she got an abortion?
Or that she was pregnant?
I had.
And did you ever get anything that was definitive proof?
No, everything she sent me never had dates on it, and she has 4 children, and she's had multiple abortions.
Objection, Your Honor.
She's 4 children. She has 4 children. So my belief that those pictures could have been from any of her children. I didn't have a date on them. I have no idea. Now that we've analyzed the metadata on the pictures, we know that none of them. They're all from before I met her.
Objection, Your Honor. He's purporting to be some kind of digital
The rules
analyst.
of evidence don't apply here, Your Honor, within this ambit. So, Mr. Kearney, just moving on in your history of your relationship with Ms. Gaetani, have you ever threatened her or tried to manipulate her decision on what to do with the alleged pregnancy?
Absolutely.
And with respect to your involvement in the alleged pregnancy, what did you want to do if it was true?
I was happy it was her decision because I am conflicted on the issue of abortion, and it was something I told her that I struggled with. And so, quite frankly, I was relieved that it wasn't my decision to make, that it's a woman's right to choose in this state. And so it was completely up to her. Whatever she supported, if she had the abortion, I wasn't going to tell her not to. If she was going to have the baby, I made it very clear to her that only one of us could have custody, and I would be applying for custody.
Did Ms. Gaetani engage in verbally abusive behavior towards you in your relationship?
Throughout the relationship.
Just in a nutshell for the court, what did that consist of?
She would constantly yell at me, demean me, tell me that I'm a dweeb, tell me that I'm a loser, a piece of shit, that I'm a liar, I'm a manipulator. There was one incident in October in which she pretended we were coming home from a bar in Norwood, and she pretended she had to puke, and she got out of the car and began running along a dark road.
Objection, Judge. It's the relevance of this story.
What happened at a Halloween fundraiser in October of 2023?
I went there with Lindsay, I invited her, and towards the end of the night, she became aware that an ex-girlfriend of mine named Lauren had been sending people pictures of her at the event, and this was very upsetting to her. And so I attempted to smooth things over and with her and
Meaning Ms. Gaetani.
with Miss Gaetani, yes. And we ended up, I explained to her that I thought that, sorry this happened, I'm sorry, but I'm in a relationship with you now, I only want you. And I ended up going home with her and I see her for her house.
Did she mention something about a Ring camera in her bedroom?
She did. She informed me about a week prior that she had been secretly recording us.
Objection, Judge. Again, I don't understand the relevance.
Camera, can you please continue?
Yeah, I was unaware that there was a Ring camera videotaping us, and she informed me of it on I believe it was October 19th. And she then sent me 3 videos of us having sex in her room. And prior to that, I had no idea that there was a Ring camera or there was recordings. There was audio and video.
And is it fair to say that after that point, was there sexting videos going back and forth between the two of you?
We did that throughout the relationship. We were constantly sending sexual.
Was that something that was disapproved of her or discouraged or that she didn't like anyway as she may have expressed it to you?
No, she loved it. We both.
Now, you said that in November, it came to your attention that she was saying she was pregnant, right? And was she saying in the written record, the Facebook text record, that you were forcing her to get an abortion?
She constantly told me I was forcing her to get an abortion, something she said she was morally opposed to doing. And I repeatedly told her, I'm not forcing you to do anything. I don't have the ability to do it. It's a woman's right to choose in Massachusetts.
Did you ever try to force her, cajole her, manipulate her into doing anything relative to this alleged pregnancy?
Absolutely not.
Now, Ms. Gaetani has expressed a fear, an alleged fear here, vulnerability with respect to DCF and her children. And have you ever done anything to publicize her problems with DCF and her children?
I have not.
To your knowledge, is anyone but Ms. Gaetani responsible for her problems with DCF and her children?
No, just her.
So in late November of 2023, did Ms. Gaetani tell you that she had elected to have an abortion?
She did. She ended up, after ignoring me all day on the 27th, she ended up coming to my court date on the 28th. She actually posted in the Norwood Moms Facebook group looking for a babysitter to come the next day while actively ignoring me. She showed up to my court date in Stoughton, and we met up at the Dunkin' Donuts afterwards, and I asked if she did it, and she said yes, and she started crying, and I consoled her, and I told her it was going to be okay, and that I'm here for her, and she was very upset about it, and I said, and then she asked me if we could be in a relationship, and I said, we'll see, I'd like to be, let's see where it goes. And for the next week, she constantly told me that she was traumatized from the abortion, that it was my fault, that I made her do something she did not want to do, that I forced her to do it. And I said, I didn't force you to do anything. And that would really upset her that I didn't force her to do it. She would scream at me and say, yes, you did. You made me do this. Don't you dare have me say that. And I was frightened. And this is how most of our conversations.
And then at some point, did she shift gears away from the notion that she had terminated the pregnancy?
On December 5th, she got especially upset with me. And she told me, guess what? I didn't have the abortion. I was lying to you to see how you'd react. And I'm so glad now because I'm keeping it. And I was very shocked by this, that I'd been deceived for a whole week about her having an abortion. And she asked me to meet her the next day on December 6th. So I agreed to meet her at a parking lot in a town called Boylston at the Dragon 88. And we met there around noon to discuss, because she said she was still going to get an abortion now that she's back to being pregnant. So
Let me stop you right there and ask you another question. At this general time period in your relationship, did Ms. Gaetani engage in behavior that was inconsistent with how a responsible pregnant person would conduct themselves?
Object to form, Your Honor.
Sustained. So you were, I'll lay some foundation if I may, Your Honor. You were skeptical about whether or not she was pregnant at all. But
Object to form, Your Honor.
just trying to lay the foundation.
Really,
What's your state of mind with respect to the truthfulness of her testimony and her position with you at the time about being pregnant?
I began to doubt anything she said about the abortion.
And what contributed in terms of her behavior to you further doubting?
Because she sold it so. I mean, she did a tremendous job of pretending to be traumatized from this, lying to me on the phone.
Let me just stop you because I don't think you understand the question. I'll ask you a better question. The question is, what was her behavior that added to your skepticism about her being actually pregnant?
Well, every time I see Lindsay, she's drunk. She gets drunk.
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Relevance is the
She was claiming to be pregnant, yet we would go out drinking She would have 4 or 5 drinks, get blackout drunk. And when I saw her on December 6th and I met her in that parking lot, she was very upset and was kicking. We sat in her minivan and she kicked pedals in her car in anger at me. And she said, I'm drunk right now. And she pulled out a water bottle that was filled with vodka. And then she said, I have to go pick up my kids at daycare.
So were you trying to break up with her?
Counsel, you can cross-examine.
I was trying to. I said, why would you want to be in a relationship with me? This is clearly I upset you. And that just made her more angry. The more I tried to leave her, the more angry she got.
Did you use the word toxic?
Yes.
Now, moving up to December 7th, did she re-engage with you relative to this pregnancy and another issue with this alleged pregnancy?
Yes.
What was
She said that she had an appointment at the clinic in Brookline on December 8th, and she needed a ride home again.
You mentioned that earlier,
This is
correct?
the second time.
Okay, this is another time. Sorry, go ahead.
So the first time was November 27th, and that didn't happen. And then she said she was going to do it on December 8th and needed a ride home. And she asked me to sleep over that night because just to comfort her, and I agreed to do that.
Did you do that?
So she changed her mind on December 8th. She said, I'm not going to go to the clinic. I'm going to take the abortion pill. And apparently how that works is she said she took 1 pill in the morning in front of the doctor. That's what she said. And that she has to take the other 4 at night. And she said that the first one terminates the pregnancy. The 4th one extracts the fetus. And so she said, it's painful, and I need you here with me in case I am in pain or need to go to the hospital. So I agreed to sleep over her house on December 8th.
At this point, what's your state of mind about whether this is fantasy or whether it's true?
Honestly, I was leaning towards she's not pregnant. I was asking other women about this, what do you think of this, asking their opinion, and they all consistent with the movie.
In the course of her trying to get you to stay there, did a verbal dispute arise between the two of you about whether you were going to stay there with her or whether you were going to go work?
The whole purpose of me being there was she was going to take the 4 abortion pills that night. We woke up at 5:30 the next morning and she said, I forgot to take the pills. And I said, well, it's 5:30. You can take them now if you want. And she said, no. She started screaming at me. She pretended to flush the pills down the toilet. And she started just berating me, like she always does, telling me I'm a scumbag, and said that we have to come back tonight. This is now sad. She said, you have to come back tonight.
What was your answer to that?
I said, I can't come back tonight. I have my show.
What do you mean when you say you have your show?
So Lindsay knows that I do a live show. It's my job, my livelihood.
Is that on Facebook?
On YouTube every Tuesday and Saturday night.
And how did she react when you told her that you had to do that?
She became enraged, furious. She texted me close to 100 times in the next few hours, including during the show, in which she sent threatening messages. She called me before the show started, and she said that she was going to drop that fetal alcohol baby off at your house and go party the night away. She then told me that she was going, that because I was ending with her and not coming over, that she said, if you think 9 felonies are bad, wait till you see what's coming next. And apparently, that is this.
At some point, did you become aware that she was communicating with members of the Albert and the Cave families, people that were adverse to your investigation in the research?
I did.
And give the court a brief nutshell about that.
A woman by the name of Kate Peter, who is a woman who's somewhat obsessed with me and just focuses her life on me. She began to make tweets, put tweets out about very sensitive personal information that I had only told Lindsay. And one particular thing involved my 8-year-old daughter. She posted something out to the effect of Aidan doesn't bond well with his daughter. He doesn't even love her. And I had previously had a conversation with Lindsay in which I said that it was easier to bond with my son because we have more in common than it was with my daughter. She also posted I was signed to do a documentary. I've signed with a major production company out of Los Angeles and partnered with another company in Boston. And I had told her on November 21st the names of the 2 producers, Levy and Charlie Siskel. And on somewhere around December 13th or 14th, Kate Peter posted the names Charlie Siskel and Eric, and that they were doing the documentary. And she is known to harass people that are associated with me. And as a direct result of that, the documentary was put on.
All right. So at that point, it's fair to say that you had a strong suspicion that she was the one, that Ms. Gaetani was the one that was feeding this information to Ms. Peter, who regularly attacks you on.
That's correct.
Did Ms. Gaetani admit to you that she was in communication with the lead policeman who was prosecuting you and the special ADA that was appointed to prosecute?
She told me that when I was over at her house on the 23rd.
Did she say what the topic of her communications with them was relative to you?
She said that when she spoke with Ken Miller, that she apologized and said, I only went to them out of anger. If I could take it back, I would. I'm so sorry. And I forgave her because I felt like she was doing the right thing. And I said, it's okay, I forgive you, and we can fix this. It's going to be okay.
Before we move on there, you saw a reference in her affidavit about how you wanted to control the involvement of the lawyer that you were offering to help, right?
Correct, that's what she said.
Is that true?
No,
What did you say to her, just in general, about offering to help her in terms of getting a lawyer to get her out of this when she came to you in that regard?
Lieutenant Tully had specifically told her. He went to her and said,
Hold on, where are you getting that from?
from her.
Okay, what did she tell you?
She told me
Tully
that
told you.
when
Her.
Tully came to her house, he said, I just came from court with Aidan. He has his new girlfriend there. He replaced you real quick. And he also went on.
So,
I'm gonna strike that last name, unresponsive.
what did she tell you that the police were there and the prosecutor were in communication with her for?
That she said that she went to them out of anger and that she was worried that I would post naked images of her or something like that. And that Ken Mello told her, we will make you a witness in this trial so that way he can't write about it. And there will be witness intimidation.
Did she tell you whether or not they wanted her phone?
Yes, she said that he was demanding her phone. He was giving her two options. Either she could, Lieutenant Tully was demanding her phone, and that either she could hand over her phone and download, or they could sit next to each other and she could screenshot our entire conversation and send it to him. And he did not have a warrant to do this, and I advised her to get him.
And with respect to this business about you being done with Gaetani and having another girlfriend in the court, and that you were done with Miss Gaetani, was any of that true?
No, that's why.
What did Miss Gaetani tell you that she said to the officers about giving up the phone?
She said she didn't want to give up the phone, and this is the reason she had ultimately kind of come back to me, is that she said that she was just angry and didn't want to, she just did it out of anger. But now that she got a summons, and now that they wanted her phone, she was freaking out and didn't know what to do. So she came back to me looking for comfort and offered her all this information.
So it's fair to say that at that particular point in time, circumstances changed to suit her to go back to you for assistance. Did she report to you what Lieutenant Tully told her about whether she should have a lawyer for the stranger?
She did.
What did he say?
She said that she does not need a lawyer, and that in 99.9% of grand juries do not have attorneys.
Did she ever say anything to you about what exactly they wanted her to testify about?
She did.
What was that?
They wanted information about Kearney. They wanted information specifically about the FBI investigation into Lieutenant Tully. And they wanted information about Karen Reed's relationship with United States Attorney Josh Levy, and whether or not I had been paid by the Karen Reed defense team.
Judge, objection for relevance.
What's the relevance?
Your Honor, it presents a full picture of the relationship. It directly contradicts her affidavit, and it shows her credibility such as it is.
There's a difference between a full picture and giving way beyond the sort of context and backstory that is necessary. And thank you.
Did Miss Gaetani send you a picture of this summons?
She did.
And what happened with respect to that?
We spoke on the phone about it, and she said that she wanted me to come over that night, and I then contacted you about it. I wasn't sure if it was real or not, and you advised me not to come over. She told me not to come over there, and so
Did she say what she was going to do in retaliation to that?
she said that she was going to have, I forget her exact wording, but something to the effect that she was going to have to do what she needed to do to benefit herself.
Did she say whether or not she was going to disclose her alleged pregnancy?
She did. She told that she was going to tell the grand jury about the baby.
Objection again, Judge, for relevance.
Judge, this is the relevance would be just that she's luring him over to the house in contradiction to her affidavit. Is this when she gave you some details on how she was cooperating with the other side, so to speak, in the Reed case?
Yes, later on, I wondered how they would even know who she is. She's a
All 3 years ago, answer.
Yes.
Yes.
And so, Judge, just in the interest of time, I'm just going to move on from that, but I believe that was already fleshed out. And is that when she engaged in her apologies, as we discussed on cross-examination with her?
we spoke on the phone, but originally on Facebook and then on the phone from about 12:30 a.m. to 2 a.m. in which she was crying and saying how sorry she was. And she seemed genuinely empathetic, and I felt bad. I really did, even though she had done me wrong and betrayed me, and I still felt empathy for her because she was in a tough situation and I was willing to help her out.
I mean, what you testified to is basically a shakedown of a woman.
Just say.
Did you feel sympathy for Ms. Gaetani?
Absolutely. Nothing was heartbroken for her, and I told her that I loved her.
So I asked you earlier about what the police asked her, and you mentioned some things about their interest in the investigation with respect to the FBI. But my question now is, did Ms. Gaetani ever tell you anything about what these officers may have wanted her to testify to about an investigation into you?
She said that actually that she didn't think they were looking for me so much as they were looking for Kearney because she knew.
Judge, objection. Again, relevance.
Did she ever report anything to you about why they wanted her to testify about you, an investigation into you?
Yes, she said that she had been telling them about my relationship to Karen Reed that I had spoken before, and they believed that Karen Reed might have told me something about the grand jury investigation into them, and that I might have told Lindsay, who might offer that information.
Sure, but that's really just still information about the other case. Was there ever any report from Ms. Gaetani about what Tully and the other guy wanted her to testify to about you?
Yeah, they wanted to know about whether or not I was being paid, whether or not my Lexus was received
By who though?
by Karen Reed.
By people involved in the Reed.
Correct.
So again, I'm going to ask you again, relative to you and any criminal behavior by you,
No, to my knowledge, she never talked about my case.
you were talking about your conversations with Ms. Gaetani in early December of 2023. You recall that?
Yes.
All right. And you heard Ms. Gaetani say that in the vicinity of December 9th that she didn't want you to contact her anymore. She wanted to get away from you and that was it. Or words to that effect. Is that right?
That's what the affidavit said.
All right. Can you recall how many times after that date Ms. Gaetani reached out to you via text and email?
I guess hundreds.
May I approach her? I'm going to show you this document. You know what that document is, right?
Those are all of our text messages from December 9th on.
Right. And what are the highlights portion show?
The highlights were when she messages me after December 9th.
All right. And is it fair to say that the pages from December 9th to the present are covered in yellow highlighter?
Yeah, it goes back about 9 or 10 pages
All
here.
right. Thank you. Is it fair to say that the spreadsheet of text messages covers hundreds of yellow highlighted text messages from her?
That's correct.
Did you do anything to force her or cause her to contact you?
No, she initiated contact. She actually initiated contact from her son's phone on December 15th.
And what were some of the requests in the contact when she used her son's phone?
While using her son's phone, she attempted to engage me in sex and said she missed the dick
She invited you over for sex?
using her son's phone.
And
Objection, Your Honor.
What's the objection?
Relevance.
Counsel, overruled.
then in 12/21, did Ms. Gaetani initiate conversation on that date?
Well, yeah, we had sex the day before.
And did she send photographs to you of a sexual nature?
Yes.
And not just to remain polite, but just what were the nature of that?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance.
Counsel, sorry.
So with respect to the cell phone, how did you learn it was her son's cell phone?
She told me.
So she invited you over for sex on 12/15?
Yeah, so we,
Just yes or no?
yes.
Okay. 12/21, is that the date that you received another sexually oriented photo?
Yes.
Was there a request, a sexually oriented request?
Yeah, she said she wanted to have a threesome that night.
What's the relevance of this line of questioning, counsel?
Your Honor, the relevance is that Gaetani is claiming that she wants to get away from my client, that she's scared of him, and yet she's constantly pursuing
I
him
think the fact that
for
it's
sexual relations.
You can establish that.
Okay.
Without getting into the details.
Thank you. Your Honor. I'll ask another question. Did you ever say anything when you left her house, fast forwarding to the night in question here, 12/23? Did you say anything when you left the house?
No, I waited until she fell asleep and just left quietly.
Did you say this is war, as it states in the police report?
Absolutely not.
Now, I just want to ask you, the last thing I want to ask you about is the 23rd. Describe for the court the circumstances behind how you came to go to her house. Why did you go to her house?
So we had the night before from 12:30 to 2. She apologized. She admitted that she had been in contact with Ken Mello, with Captain Peter, all while outwardly supporting me. She said she did it out of pure anger after we broke up on December 9th, and that she wanted to invite me over to show me all the text messages because she didn't feel comfortable taking screenshots of them and sending them to me. So I went over there and I told her beforehand, I can't sleep over. I'm just here to look through your phone and see the screenshots. And she was okay with that. We agreed to meet in the conference room area. We did for approximately 2 hours. She voluntarily showed me her phone. That was the whole purpose of being there. And around 11 o'clock, one of her sons woke up and we had to go into her apartment. And when we went in there, she began.
Let me stop you right there. So you're down in the conference room and her kids are upstairs?
She lives on the first floor. Big yes.
Okay. So she's not in her apartment and the kids are in the apartment?
That's correct.
And how did she come to get that knowledge that the kids were awake?
She has a ring camera video in her house. And I believe one of her sons, like the 12-year-old, learned.
And what did you and she do in response to the 12-year-old?
We went into her apartment and she began to unplug all of her surveillance because I was suspicious that she would be recording it. She'd recorded me before in the past. And so she began to unplug everything. And then we sat down at around 11. And for about 3.5 hours, we went through all of her messages between her and Captain Peter between December 11th and December 23rd.
When you say was it we or was it just you taking her phone and stealing it from her to do it what you would with it?
I never touched her phone. She was in complete control of the phone the whole time.
How did she proffer the information to you? What did she do?
She would scroll through the messages, and I would sit there taking notes about what I was seeing.
And at some point you assembled 5 pages of notes?
Yes, Jennifer McCabe was her babysitter.
And that's the alleged co-conspirator from the Reed case?
Correct.
Did she talk to you about how she came to be involved with Ms. Gaetani?
Yeah, she said that Peter put her in touch with Jennifer McCabe on December 13th, and that Jennifer McCabe told her.
What's the relevance of this question? I know there's no objection.
I'll withdraw it.
I mean, focus on that night.
Sure. And so the general idea, without getting into too much specifics, is that is she willingly proffering you her phone or are you taking it from her?
Oh yeah, it was willingly proffering. It was her, that was the whole purpose of it.
Did you express any anger or hostility towards her?
No, I expressed sadness and disappointment reading how she was, saying horrible things about me in the messages. But I said I forgave her and I was happy and proud that she was coming forward and doing the right thing.
Did you ever tell her to lie anywhere or misrepresent anything or delete anything or get rid of anything?
I told her the exact opposite. I told her to just tell the truth because there's nothing to hide. We haven't done anything wrong and there's nothing. This is a fishing expedition. There's nothing to see here.
What about the lawyer? Did you try to set up some scheme with a lawyer that would report to you instead of her? Anything to that effect?
She said she couldn't afford a lawyer, and I said I'll message my friend Mike Ehrlich. And so I messaged my friend Mike Ehrlich. He's an attorney in Worcester on Facebook. I haven't seen if he's gotten back to me because I haven't had 2 weeks. But
were you trying to help her or arrange something for yourself?
no, I was trying to help her because she seemed desperate and sad, and I felt bad for her because she seemed very scared. She kept saying how scared she was because they wanted her phone, and she was also scared because she specifically said, how am I going to get out of this situation with Kate Peter? If she finds out I'm talking to you, then she's going to post pictures of me and she's going to come after me.
And incidentally, with respect to Ms. Gaetani's testimony that she was afraid you were going to post sexual pictures of her in retaliation, do you recall that?
I heard her testimony, yes.
Did she spend the entire month of December sending you sexual pictures?
Yeah, we exchange sexual pictures almost every day.
At some point, just for the court, just tell the court when it was you engaged in sexual relations that night with her.
So after we finished reading her voluminous text messages with Captain Peter, at 2:30 we were on the couch and she leaned over and started kissing me, and then started feeling my pants and she started giving me oral sex. And so we had sex for about 20, 30 minutes. And then around 3 o'clock, I said, I have to go home now because I told her before, I can't sleep over. It's the 23rd going into the 24th. And she didn't like that answer at all. She said, you used me, like something snapped in her. And she immediately began putting her clothes on and went into the living room and took my notes and ripped several pages of them out and stuffed them down her shirt.
Did you touch her in any way at that point?
No, I asked her several times, can I have them back? And the next day I even texted her, I said, can I have those notes back? I mean, that's my property, it's what I spent hours working on over there. I would never try to take some, I knew they were in her shirt, but I wasn't gonna touch her against her will. And so.
What happened next?
So what happened next was, to keep me around, she then took the abortion pills, the 4 abortion pills that she didn't take 2 weeks prior. But they wouldn't be effective.
Well, what happened next? We could just.
Okay. Is it fair to say that the subject of the conversation went back to the alleged pregnancy?
Yes.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the outcome of that conversation with respect to what you did or what she did?
Well, I saw her take what she claimed to be the 4 abortion pills. She put them in her cheek like this. She spit one of them out, but she put it back in her mouth. And then she started taking all sorts of other drugs. She went through and started taking, I don't know what these were, but bottle after bottle, popping pills. And she told me that now I've taken the abortion pill, now I'm going to be in pain for the next 3 hours. you have to stay, you can't leave. I was trying to leave, and she was doing what she needed to do to make sure that I couldn't leave.
What happened next?
So after that, I eventually did walk out the door, and then she came running out the door and said, if you leave, I'm gonna kill myself, and I'm gonna blame you. I'm gonna put you in the note. And so I was scared. She's screaming. She has 4 kids in the house. So I agreed to go back inside the house. And she continued to berate me and threaten me, and I kept telling her, I have to go, and she said, no, you can't. I took these pills. I'm gonna be in pain. You can't leave me here. So finally, she started screaming for all of her kids to wake up. And the 5-year-old came out.
Did she announce some sort of a plan as to why she's waking all of her kids up at
She
3
said
in the morning?
she said she was going to wake them up, to put them into the car, to drive to my house so that mommy can bleed out in the driveway and tell his family about the baby he just aborted. And the 5-year-old walked out, and it was he had a look of absolute horror.
Next question, please.
At some point, did she settle down?
No.
Did she go to sleep at any point after this?
So eventually, I agreed, because I was scared for the children, what she was going to do to them. I agreed to sit on the couch. And I sat on the couch, and she went in the other room and pretended to pass a baby. And I finally waited for her to fall asleep. At 5 o'clock, I left. I was so tired that on the way home, I fell asleep behind the wheel of my car, and I crashed on 495.
At any point during this interaction, December 23rd, 2023, did you put your hand on Ms. Gaetani anywhere?
Absolutely not.
Did you grab her wrist?
Not at all.
Did you grab her shoulder?
No.
Did you push her into the couch?
Absolutely not.
Did you push her onto the couch?
No.
Thank you. Nothing further.
Very briefly, Your Honor.
Take your time.
Mr. Kearney, you have a blog, is that right?
It's a news website.
And do you have followers of the blog?
Correct.
And do you have a YouTube channel?
I do.
And roughly how many followers do you have on that YouTube channel?
Last I checked, 48,400.
Do you have a Twitter account? Roughly how many followers do you have?
Last I saw, 51,800.
Okay. Do you have an Instagram account?
I do.
Roughly how many followers do you have?
I believe 25,000.
Okay. And do you have a Facebook account? How many followers?
Roughly 42,000.
Okay. And do you broadcast to these followers? I believe you testified earlier, 2 days a week.
On YouTube, I broadcast 2 days a week, correct.
But are you actively engaged with your followers?
Do I actively engage?
Yes. Do you tweet? Do you post things?
I use social media frequently,
Generally about what?
every day.
What do you generally post about?
The stories I'm writing about.
Okay. And do you ever use that following to put together protests,
Sure.
rallies?
Yes.
Do you use bullhorn?
I've used the bullhorn before.
And have you shown up to witnesses' homes with that bullhorn before?
Peacefully protesting, correct.
Okay. You testified that there was some explicit photographs exchanged between the two of you. Is that correct? Have you ever been in a relationship prior to the relationship with Ms. Gaetani where you shared explicit photographs?
Yes.
And have you ever posted those photographs online?
After jerk-off videos, it's a yes.
So what you just testified.
So if you could just answer the question.
Yes, I have.
So what you're saying is you've used photos from prior relationships and posted them online before?
Yes.
Okay. And was the other person upset about that?
Well, the other person posted pictures of me masturbating, so I posted pictures of her.
Okay, on a public website?
Just like she did, correct.
And did you alert your followers, your hundreds of thousands of followers, to view those images?
Absolutely not.
Okay. You said that my client was screaming the morning after you left their apartment on the 24th, I guess, morning. You said she was screaming?
Correct.
And that was outside the apartment?
It was inside the apartment mostly, but there was one brief episode outside.
Okay, and did anybody hear that outside of any of the neighbors?
I don't know.
No one woke up and no one came out and checked on her?
No, I was back in the apartment.
Okay. One moment, Your Honor. I believe you testified earlier that you're familiar with metadata
Correct.
because you have experience as an online journalist.
That's right.
Familiar with editing videos, would you say?
No.
No, you don't know how to edit a video? You have no idea how to post a video on your YouTube channel?
I know, post a video.
So do you know how to edit the content of those videos on your YouTube channel?
No, something like a boomer.
What is that?
It means I'm not familiar with that aspect of video producing.
So you're not familiar with editing videos, but you are familiar with how to decipher metadata on cellular telephones?
Yeah, you just click on it, it shows you metadata.
And that's your extent of knowledge on how to discover metadata?
Yeah, it's not complicated.
Okay. And you've never edited a video before?
Edited a video?
Yeah.
No, I have somebody else that edits videos.
Okay. Who's that?
Her name's Laura, she runs my YouTube channel.
Okay. And do you ever instruct her to edit videos?
No.
She has full discretion on what to post on her YouTube channel?
So if she'll take clips of things that I've done on the show, like funny clips, and she'll make highlight reels of them. That's basically what she does.
Okay. But do you have authority on what is posted?
Yeah, I mean, I've uploaded videos, sure.
Okay. So you can upload the video, but your colleague Lauren edits the video?
No. If I upload it, then it's as it is.
After the incident, did you ever upload any videos related to her?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you post about her on your blog?
I posted about her on my blog.
Did you post about her on any of your social media accounts?
No. I've never mentioned her name publicly at all in any social media.
But you did upload a video of a conversation between the two of you?
Yes, without saying her name.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you.
You may be seated.
Connie, Grace Barrett.
Your Honor, I can give a report, if I may, on Ms. Barrett. She's been texting one of the members of the defense team, and she now is saying that she has COVID and she doesn't want to come in. So I want to ask the court to, in light of that, I want to ask the court to allow me to recall Mr. Kearney about he knows Miss Barrett, and she reached out to him a couple of times, and I would question him about the interaction, subject to cross-examination.
You want Mr. Kearney to testify to what?
So in the days following this incident, Your Honor, Ms. Barrett reached out to Mr. Kearney, and Mr. Kearney knows Ms. Barrett from having visited there several times when Ms. Barrett was babysitting, so they know each other. Ms. Barrett was one of Mr. Kearney's followers on Facebook, and they know each other. They're friendly, and that's from Mr. Kearney being at Ms. Gaetani's house from time to time. And the offer of proof would be, Your Honor, that Ms. Barrett reached out to Mr. Kearney and told Mr. Kearney the same thing that I was proffering.
When did she reach out?
On the 25th and 26th, they spoke on the phone, and the similar information that we were going to offer through Mr. Chiappetta, our investigator, was related to Mr. Kearney. And when Mr. Kearney reported that to me, I said, okay, Mr. Chiappetta, get out there and get a statement. So it actually originates with Mr. Kearney.
Did you get a written statement from her?
Mr. Chiappetta did. Well, no, Mr. Chiappetta spoke with her. She didn't want to cooperate. She didn't want to testify. She didn't want to sign a statement. So Mr. Chiappetta, he wrote a statement about his interaction with her. And so it's Mr. Chippetta's statement. But Mr. Kearney took the same information from her. That's what prompted us to send our investigator. Excuse me 1 second.
Have you heard on this?
And the offer of proof would be that Ms. Barrett was calling Mr. Kearney from when she was inside of Ms. Gaetani's house, right at the time this happened.
Your Honor, this is...
You mean this witness was in the home?
Yes, babysitting.
On the 24th?
And 26th, Your Honor, and called Mr. Kearney and reported this to Mr. Kearney. So the original recipient of it is Mr. Kearney, not Mr. Chiappetta. After hearing this from Mr. Kearney, I then dispatched Mr. Chiappetta to get a statement. Mr. Kearney was locked up, and so I sent Mr. Chiappetta to get a statement.
She's under a subpoena to be here, right?
She's now saying she has COVID. That's what she said. I don't know. That's what she's saying. So
Did she say that this morning?
no, I think that's a recent fabrication, as we might say. But this morning it was related to one of the members of the defense team.
Where is she? Is she in Norwood right now?
I have no idea. She didn't pick up the phone this morning.
Who spoke with her today?
Ms. Lombardi, and she's one of Mr. Kearney's friends who's been helping us with the marshaling all this various tips and people and everything else. And she informed Ms. Lombardi that she would call the court and say that she was sick, I think, or something to that effect, Your Honor. So she clearly doesn't want to be here. You know, I don't want to, if she has COVID, supposedly, and she's this reluctant, and she's related to not myself, Mr. Chiappetta and Mr. Kearney, that she doesn't want to
I
testify.
understand she being reluctant, but she's a key witness as far as your client.
Absolutely, Your Honor.
And I would rather hear from her than hearing from an investigator, or hearing from Mr. Kearney, or hearing from Ms. Gaetani. I'd rather hear from her under oath, subject to your examination and cross-examination by counsel.
Sure.
Because if she is saying, you're saying that she has, have you spoken to her?
No, I have not spoken to her. I don't want to be a witness. That's why I had my
So
investigator
your
do it.
investigator says she will testify that Ms. Gaetani had a conversation with her, and Ms. Gaetani stated that he did not assault her.
Correct.
That's important. I'd like to hear that testimony.
You know, I would too, Your Honor. If I could just have one moment, please, Your Honor.
You want to be heard?
I think you're covering it, but there's about 8 layers of hearsay here.
I deny she had a conversation with her.
Correct. First of all, remember, this is in the timeline. This is after the event. And my client will testify, if need be, that she did not have a conversation with Miss Barrett regarding what's proffered in this.
So I don't know what you want.
Judge, I just, I appreciate the court wanting to be careful and meticulous.
I may have questions for her. I want to examine it.
Sure. Well, I don't know what to tell you, Judge. She's saying she has COVID. I don't think she's going to agree to come in without.
She's not responsive, though.
Yes. Ma'am, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear in the matter now in the hearing to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Bradl and counsel, do you want to talk here? Clerk's here to examine the witness.
Yes, thank you very much, Your Honor.
Counsel,
Mr. Pollock's going to handle this witness.
Is it okay to inquire? Is that okay?
can you see her?
I can see you. May I inquire?
You may.
Ms. Barrett, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Can you see me?
No, but that's okay.
All right. Ma'am, my name is Tim Bradl. I'm the attorney for Aidan Kearney, and I want to ask you some questions, okay?
Yes.
Are you feeling okay right now?
Not really. Can't even sit up for much longer.
Okay. Well, we'll try to make it as brief as we can, okay? You have to answer for the tape recording so they can hear your responses, okay?
Yep.
All right.
Identify her, please.
State your name and spell your last name, please.
Grace Barrett, Barr.
And where do you live?
Norwood, Mass.
And I understand that you're a babysitter, that you're one of your occupations.
No, I wouldn't say that. I only babysat. It's not an occupation. I did it for a friend, and I've only done it maybe 3 times.
Okay, and who did you do it for?
Lindsay.
Is that Miss Gaetani?
Yes.
And how do you know Miss Gaetani?
She has children with my cousin,
And who's your cousin?
Keegan. Francis Keegan.
All right. How long have you known Miss Gaetani?
Maybe not even a year.
And what about Mr. Kearney? Do you know Mr. Kearney?
Not at all.
Well, do you follow his internet presence at all? Facebook or YouTube?
Nope.
Okay. Have you, in the month of December, have you been on the phone with Mr. Kearney?
December? No, because I hardly even talked to them in December. Lindsay or anything.
Could you direct her to some conversation with some person, please?
Sure. Ms. Barrett, you spoke on the phone to Aidan Kearney recently, didn't you?
Maybe I think he called me the morning of court.
So you spoke to him the morning of court, meaning what, the 22nd of December?
No,
Or how about the
No.
26th of December?
the 26th.
And you spoke with him on the 26th?
I can't even remember right. It wasn't anything sufficient or long or I don't even know right now. Tell you the truth.
Okay, are you nervous?
No, I am sick as a dog. Really sick.
So,
I don't know what you're getting at. What do you want to get at? I know nothing about this.
ma'am, on 12/27, you spoke with a gentleman named Mark Chiappetta. Do you remember that? Our investigator, Mr. Chiappetta?
Not really. I told him I knew nothing, basically.
You talked to him first on 12/27?
I told him I never knew nothing about the pregnancy. I knew nothing about their relationship. That I only know Lindsay because I am cousins with 3 of her children. That's it.
Are you cousins with their father or the children?
Yeah, well, they're my second cousins then, okay?
You spoke
I
with...
babysat 3 times for her. And it wasn't even to go out with Aidan, for her to get a rent-a-car and a doctor's nothing sufficient to have anything to do with her and Aidan.
Sure. Isn't it true that you've been babysitting in the house?
This is your witness, so don't leave the witness, please. You're not cross-examining, it's your witness you want to call.
After Mr.
I really, I can't, I'm burning up right now.
Yeah, I understand, it won't take that long. Bradl, this is your witness. I think you should be prepared for the examination of this witness. Let's go.
Well, Judge, if she would come here under a subpoena...
No, she's under oath. She's in front of me right now. She can see me as a judge on the bench, okay?
There's no way I could get there right now. I am so sick.
Okay, next question, please.
Ma'am, you spoke with Mr. Kearney on Facebook Messenger, isn't that correct? Right around Christmas time.
Not that I remember. No, I don't know. No, I have nothing to say about their relationship. I knew nothing about her pregnancy. I had nothing to do with them. That's it. And I told the detective that. Do not involve me. I have no information about them.
You didn't want to be involved, Judge?
There was nothing to be involved
I'd
of.
object to leaving the witness.
He kept everything from me. I knew nothing about any of this.
Next question, please.
Why didn't you want to be involved, ma'am?
Because I knew nothing. And there's nothing to say.
There's a dog.
Ma'am, isn't it true that on 12/27 you spoke with Mr. Chiappetta, our investigator?
About what? What are you talking about? The investigator kept trying to talk to me. And I said I did not want to be involved. I knew nothing.
That's not what you told Mr. Chiappetta, though, is it?
This is your witness, Mr. Bradl.
Oh my God.
You're trying to impeach your own witness.
Sometimes you have to do that.
It's your witness.
You're not cooperative.
I should ask her whether she had a conversation with Mr.
Ma'am,
I told him to leave me alone and I wasn't talking to him.
you talked to him on 2 separate dates, didn't you?
No, I told him to leave me alone. No. One time he asked to talk and I said no, and he asked if I would meet him and I said, I don't know. And then when he called, I said I wouldn't meet him.
Did you arrive to babysit at Miss Gaetani's house on 12/27/23?
Yes,
And on that date, you were aware that there was an incident involving Mr. Kearney and Miss Gaetani. Is that right?
Leading.
Leading the witness, mister. This is your,
Judge, she's
it's your witness. It's your witness.
right.
we all,
If you call a witness, you're
Next question.
not cooperating.
Next question.
You were aware that there was an incident between Mr. Kearney and Miss Gaetani, correct?
yep, that's why I was going to babysit.
And you went over there, and the first thing you did was talk to Miss Gaetani about the incident, right?
Objection, leading judge.
Nope, you're wrong. I went there and hung with the kids. She was getting dressed.
Didn't you make it a point?
Mr. Bradl, why don't you ask her the conversation she had with Miss Gaetani that day, okay?
What was the conversation you had with Miss Gaetani that day?
None. She was getting dressed. I told her not to tell me anything. I didn't want to know and not to tell me anything. I didn't want to know anything because I didn't want to get involved in this. I did say that to her.
Was she trying to?
Did not tell me anything. I didn't want to get involved.
What
And
prompted you to ask-
I went and hung with the kids. Only the kids.
What prompted you to say that to Miss Gaetani?
Because I don't want to be involved. Basically, where I am now.
Were you about to get involved?
Oh my God. What does it? I know nothing. What do you want to ask? I know nothing.
I think the problem.
You know everything.
What statements, if any, did Miss Gaetani make to you on that day?
None. None.
So you came to her house to babysit that day?
And I was with the kids.
And it's,
Yes, no. And she was about to leave and she left.
and it's your testimony that you didn't have any discussions with Miss Gaetani?
Asked and answered, judge.
Yes.
Nothing further.
No.
No, judge, thank you.
Thank you, Miss Barrett. Madam Clerk. Any further evidence?
Defense calls Aidan
Objection, he's already testified.
What's the purpose?
impeach the witness, Your Honor.
This is your witness. You're gonna call your client to rebut a witness that you called, that you put under summons?
Your Honor,
I have to lay down, please.
Because you know that's not proper.
Your Honor,
This is your witness. You summoned her to be here today. She testified. Now you're gonna call someone else to impeach your own witness?
and to also offer substantive testimony about their conversations with Miss.
You're actually long enough.
But Judge, that's at a trial. This is a hearing where the rules of evidence expressly
No,
do
I
not
know,
apply.
but we have-
So you're treating it like a trial.
Well, I have to, within the framework, it's a civil proceeding. You know, this has been going all day.
Judge, we do things right. A witness comes to us with information. We send an
I did
investigator.
not come to you.
She can, you can.
All right, we're done here. Thank you.
We send an investigator to take a statement from her. Witnesses are not my witness or the plaintiff's witness. Witnesses are witnesses.
You called?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, but that doesn't mean that, people sometimes have to call witnesses that, you expect them to tell the truth and you expect them to proffer the evidence that they've already proffered to you. And if they don't, then you should be given some leeway to cross-examine them, which you didn't give me, which I respect your decision. So the next move for that has to be that I would offer under this type of a proceeding where the rules of evidence do not apply. And we do many of these hearings, all of us in this room in front of the bar, where the rules of evidence don't
You're
apply.
witness to anyone you would have called to anything that happened on, that's what I thought this witness would have testified. You made an offer of proof this morning, Mr. Bradl,
Yes,
that if she were called to testify, that you would testify to A, B, and C.
that's what she told my investigator, Your Honor. A, B, C, D, E, F,
Apparently
G.
got it wrong, maybe.
I know we didn't get it wrong. She's not telling the truth. Is my proffer. Excuse me one
No
second.
witness.
So, Judge, where a witness decides to not be cooperative, the proponent of the evidence should have another way to introduce it, particularly where we're at a proceeding where the rules of evidence don't apply. So I would ask you to allow me to call a percipient witness to the interactions with Ms. Barrett to report them to the court, and Your Honor is the fact finder, and you can do with it what you will. But in terms of, tightening up the rules of evidence, I know it's late, I know it's a lot of information, I really appreciate the court's patience. And you've been very indulgent in allowing us to put our case in. But this is an important aspect of the case that for whatever reason, one side of the conversation doesn't want to talk about it, but that information was conveyed to Mr. Kearney and Mr. Chappelle, and I have them both here to testify, and the offer of proof would be the 3-page sort of notes that I gave the court for Mr. Chappelle, and the same type of information was related to Mr. Kearney which is what prompted us to send Heather to talk to this lady. So, she's not my witness. She is who she is. She's related to the plaintiff, and she has her own reasons for changing her mind or not cooperating. We don't know. Excuse me 1 second.
Thank you, Judge. Judge, counsel is incorrect. The rules of evidence do apply if they're relaxed in these proceedings, first of all. Second of all, this was his witness. She testified. She didn't say what he wanted him to say. He doesn't have an unlimited ability to recall witnesses and call different witnesses to say what he wants them to say. And so I'd say, Your Honor, respectfully, the time has passed. He's offered the evidence that he wanted to offer. It didn't work out as he had predicted, and that happens sometimes. And so I ask that you don't allow Mr. Kearney to testify.
And Judge, we have
If you have a statement that she gave to your investigator, I'll take that. I'm not gonna, that's it. I mean, if you have a statement that she prepared, that he prepared, that she signed, I'll take that.
There's no signed statement, Your Honor. She didn't want to cooperate. She didn't want to give a statement. But then she would talk to my investigator, and my investigator wrote what she told him, and he signed that report.
Okay, sustaining the objection, right?
Thank you. Then we have nothing further, Judge. Thank you. No, my objection. Thank you very much, Your Honor. Your Honor, this case is a fabrication from the beginning. Mr. Kearney had just gotten out of Superior Court. He's not going to go commit domestic violence 24 hours later. And even the nature of this is already on the plaintiff's best evidence is so incredibly ridiculously thin that it smells. It stinks to high heaven, Your Honor. The plaintiff here stole property from Mr. Kearney, and Mr. Kearney, to his credit, remained calm and asked for it and didn't get it. The whole time through this particular night, Your Honor, Mr. Kearney did the right thing in the circumstances. He stayed there when he didn't want to. He tried to keep things calm. He never for a second assaulted Miss Gaetani. She never even called the police. She called investigators who have been prosecuting, and we would contend persecuting, Mr. Kearney for months. She didn't call the Medfield police. That's got to raise eyebrows, Your Honor, that she calls a policeman who's got Mr. Kearney in his sights to the tune of 16 indictments. That itself is suspicious. Her first call is to him. His call is to the Medfield police. He calls the Medfield police. He invited this thing. He created this thing to get Mr. Kearney back in jail, to get revenge on Mr. Kearney for beating them in court 24 hours earlier, getting completely freed of any restrictions that they went to great pains to try to get into place, Your Honor. There's no fear of imminent serious bodily harm on the part of the plaintiff. It's a complete fabrication when you compare the thumb drive full of communications, and I know the court's going to look at all that stuff, and you'll see that it's Miss Gaetani who's constantly reaching out to Mr. Kearney. She's the one that is manipulating him with this phony pregnancy situation. This whole thing, Judge, is a fabrication for revenge from Miss Gaetani's point of view and from the police's point of view. The police engineered this whole thing to somebody who is very questionable judgment, someone who is insane half the time on the text messages to Mr. Kearney, has been maintaining a horrifying pantomime of being pregnant for months and months to manipulate Mr. Kearney and get him into her house and try to make him be her boyfriend through this insane pantomime. Your Honor, the credible evidence here is that Mr. Kearney was being manipulated by her, that this is a 11th hour fabrication, that he pushed me and I fell on the couch. And to try to engineer something that puts Mr. Kearney in jail, puts him at a disadvantage, exactly what the police want in this situation, Your Honor. The police showed up with a summons 2 hours after Mr. Kearney gets free. A summons for what? We don't know. They never had a date in the grand jury. It got canceled. They didn't reschedule it. It's a phony grand jury investigation, we contend, Your Honor. That was all engineered to make Ms. Gaetani a phony witness so that they could put in phony witness intimidation charges, and they manufactured this on the thinnest of evidence in terms of, he pushed me on the couch. After she did something stole his property. And the whole evening was engineered by Ms. Gaetani. She asked for him to come over on the 22nd. He didn't do it. She asked him to come over on the 23rd. She baited him through the whole day and said, come over. She gives him a little tidbit of what happened, then says, but let's do the rest in person. And so he comes over. But then in her affidavit, she tells a completely different story. She tries to paint this ridiculous picture that she's the victim and Mr. Kearney is pressuring her for sexual relations, pressuring her to do all sorts of testimony and all kinds of untoward activity, when in reality, it's quite the opposite, Your Honor. And that's what the written record shows, is that it's Ms. Gaetani that is manipulating him, pressuring him. Then she, by her own admission, goes to his enemies and tries to get him in trouble with the enemies. Then she gets put in touch with these police officers that have charged Mr. Kearney first in district court in 9 cases, and then they indict him. They indict a man with no record on cases that could have absolutely been handled in the Stoughton District Court.
Mister, that's not before me. I know anything about that. I know what you're saying.
Sure. That's the gist of my argument, Your Honor, is that Ms. Gaetani is not a victim. She's not afraid of him. After the time she said she was afraid of him, after the time she said that she didn't want to see him again, she contacted him hundreds of times. After she said she's afraid that he's going to put sexual pictures of her on the internet, the reality is the opposite. She sent him sexual pictures for weeks after that. It's all false. The whole affidavit is blown up by the Facebook and text record and the testimony of Mr. Kearney. Mr. Kearney was forthcoming with everything that happened here. He repeated details that he's not proud of, but he told the truth and the whole truth about everything that happened here with their interactions. And the truth here, Judge, says that he didn't do anything with respect to domestic violence or witness intimidation. He did exactly the opposite. He told her to tell the truth, and he tried to help her. And she twisted that all around because she's a rejected suitor. And that's what this is about, Your Honor. And she used all of her tools for revenge. She used the police used her. The police basically shook down a mentally unstable woman for their own purposes. And she was a willing participant. So I ask that you please end this charade, dismiss this restraining order, and allow Mr. Kearney to get back to his life. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just very briefly, appreciate your time today. This has been a long hearing. We appreciate your willingness to really be thoughtful participation today. On the last comment, that's kind of, I've been lucky enough to represent a lot of women in domestic violence, and that's the classic victim shaming language you hear, that she shared the sexual explicit images in a relationship. So she opened the door for them to be posted or threatened against her to be posted online. That argument makes absolutely no sense, and I know the court picked up on that. But real quickly, there was a lot of distractions today about conspiracies against the defendant. We're not here for that. We're here for this one incident that happened on the 23rd. We have a low threshold under the statute to prove by preponderance of the evidence, and I think we proved that through my client's testimony and the testimony of the defendant. They were intimate relationship together. There was violence that occurred on the 23rd when he grabbed her and pushed her, as well as the threats that he made against her with the sexually explicit images and other veiled threats that he made through, images of personal information regarding her children. And then the client, she testified that she remains in imminent fear. And part of that is because of who she knows the defendant to be, especially after the incident of violence, as well as his large following and his ability to continue the harassment and threatening of her going forward. So we ask the court to just grant the extension of the restraining order that you already granted for 1 year. Thank you.
Court, all rise. Court stands in recess. Please leave all. Thank you.
Based upon the evidence presented at the hearing today, I find the plaintiff restraining order for a year until January 7th, 2020. Kearney, you have to comply with this order. The hearing is over.
Thank you, Your Honor.
But this
The stipulations in the order are, I know it was no abuse at first. Can we add a no harassment policy or provision? Is that possible?
the order is extended as written.
Okay.
Your Honor, before, I'm sorry, when can,
Sorry, go ahead.
The order as entered is continued for a year.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'd like to invite the court to look at paragraph 14. I want to ask the court to modify section 14, which is a prior restraint on Mr. Kearney's speech, in the sense that he cannot disseminate.
I think that was done by another judge. That was by another judge. Is that correct?
I don't know, Your Honor. It was definitely entered on an ex parte basis, that's for sure. So it amounts to an ex parte.
14 was that Mr. Kearney not disclose confidential DCFAs and or court record related to the plaintiff.
Correct. So, Judge, the breadth of the order, first of all, it's an ex parte issue prior restraint on Mr. Kearney's speech.
Does he intend to do that?
Perhaps.
Why?
Because he's a journalist and he wants to exercise whatever First Amendment rights are available to him, Your Honor. And, he shouldn't have to come to any government official for pre-approval to do so. And in that,
Well, if they're confidential records, that would be, wouldn't it be?
sure, so that's,
The order says disclose confidential DCF records.
but then it says, or court documents. Does that mean, it's an interpretation problem, does that mean also no disclosure of court documents? Or confidential court documents?
Or court records relating to the plaintiff.
So what I'm contending is I asked that the rule, that paragraph 14 be stricken, Your Honor, as an unconstitutional under the First Amendment and Article 16 of our Massachusetts Declaration of Rights as it's the most odious First Amendment intrusions, where an ex parte order has issued of a prior restraint against future speech. It's the most unconstitutional speech limitation there possibly could be. And so I can give you an example of how it's already unconstitutionally acted against Mr. Kearney, where I had a journalist from Michigan contact me asking me for a copy of the statement, Ms. Gaetani's statement, and the order, and he wanted to talk about it online on his blog. He wanted to do that. I looked at paragraph 14 and I was unable to conclude that I could send him this order, so I did not send him the order. And it has the ironic effect of this order is available in the clerk's office, but Mr. Kearney and I can't disseminate it. So that's another level of unconstitutional absurdity that's attached to that order, that whatever judge issued that. It's a egregious intrusion on Mr. Kearney's First Amendment rights. He should be able to be subject to to the laws that all of us are subject to, which is if we publish a confidential document, we get in trouble, and that's fine. And otherwise, he should be able to practice journalism and not certainly have less rights to publish things than any person that walks in off the street and accesses a court file. So I would ask that entire paragraph stricken, that he not disclose confidential documents. What does that mean, confidential documents? So
I need to go back to Judge Matthews and ask Judge Christopher, ask her for a clarification.
Well, Judge, I want to ask the court to treat it like any other provision in a restraining order, where you're the next judge, you handle the provisions.
What is that, Counsel?
Your Honor, this is the kind of thing that we're exactly concerned about, is that he has this breadth of able to disseminate information. Under the order, technically, he could continue to harass my client and put her in fear of her well-being through his blog, through his followers. He already posted a video about our client. What's going to stop him from doing that again? So this is why I want a harassment provision. This is what this is all really about. The no contact, the no abuse, and no harassment. So he can't go back to his blog and start spewing out vitriol against my client.
What stops someone is the law, Your Honor, and the law against threats, libel, slander, criminal harassment, stalking, disorderly conduct. All those laws are what is the entire basket of laws that
And 209As.
These only relates to this plaintiff. All it is, it relates to this plaintiff. This whole hearing was about other matters beyond this hearing today. And you were getting to other matters beyond this hearing today. This order is just relating to this plaintiff herself. Why would he ever want to have anything to do with her?
Judge, it's so broad that me as his counsel can't even publish it to someone who wants to do a story on it. That's so incredibly violative of the First Amendment and so not what this country is about that I don't even know what to say. It's just, there's no legal basis to say that he can't publish court documents. He can't disseminate court documents. That is the best example of the abuse of the ex parte restraining order system, Your Honor,
I
where
think the concern was with respect to DCF records.
No, Your Honor. You just found that you just put in place a 209A restraining order. With that comes limited rights. So this First Amendment argument's all well and great, but that's not pertaining to my client. He cannot harass her going forward. He cannot post things about her children, post things about her on his blog that have the purpose of intimidating. And you just found you just put a 209A order in place. It's exactly what this is for. This is exactly what the legislature intended when they put this statute in place.
Judge, the word harass her, is not a legally helpful word in this context, Your Honor. There's criminal harassment. Criminal harassment has been limited by the case of O'Brien v. Borowski to threats, fighting words.
But not in the 250AD context or the adjacent statute, but that borrows exactly from the 209A language and was written shortly after the
Okay, get
209A.
something in writing to me and I'll revisit it again on both sides, okay?
Thank you.
Get something, I'll review it, the order stands as entered, and take that, that's up.
Would you like it provided at a certain date, Your Honor?
How long do you need?
7 days.
That's fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Get that order down.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That would be in that.
What is that?